So you're probably warmer than we are then, potentially. I mean, it's not too bad in here because I've had the electric heat going, but you might be warmer than we are right now.
Yeah,
Inside.
I guess I'm like, is this going to work? Oh, it gives me feet per second. Why?
What are you mathing over there? Be careful.
Oh,
I'm
trying to use like...
I don't want you to hurt yourself.
Trying to use my launcher to do conversions, temperature conversions to freedom units. It's not working.
Oh man, you should get a better
currently
launcher.
I'm at 70 degrees in here. I'm doing all right.
Oh yeah, you are. I switched launchers this week.
Whoa. You just throw these things out, and I'm never ready for them.
I'm glad I also fixed the NIC station upstairs because then, of course, I lost power and had to boot it up. Good thing it boots now. Not everything works from a power outage, but that's okay. Hey, let's get make sure we got. Say hi to Mini Meg. Hello, Mini Meg. Hello.
Hello, boys.
Hello.
How you fine?
Maximum mech.
The most mech. We're getting ready to do a show. We're getting ready.
I don't know what kind of show, but some kind of show.
Probably a Linux podcast of some sorts. I reckon.
We have to?
No. We got a big deal today. Big deal. I should save it for the. Maybe we should start. But I guess I'll save it.
Is it breaking news or non-breaking news?
It's breaking news for you and me. It's good news for you and me. I don't like my camera shot. I'm just going to be honest with you. It's so zoomed out. But when I try to zoom, it has a zoom. But when I use it, it crashes OBS. So.
What?
Yeah.
But at least that means you have a crash OBS button.
That's true. I do.
So
I know how to do it. This camera, your camera wasn't working this morning. I just changed USB ports and it started working.
Sometimes some USB ports are cursed.
That's weird. It's weird.
It's part of the spec, actually.
The sketch juggling we've had to do in the last month over there is very worrisome.
It's high.
I think we need to take a Christmas break to
I know. That's what Wes was saying last week, and I think he's right. After they came in this morning, and now I'm running at 1024 by 768 with one screen, and my USB ports weren't working. I'm inclined to agree. I think this old Ubuntu installs on its last leg too, and it's using some NVIDIA proprietary driver, which might be in part why it's not working.
Those never fail.
No, they can actually. That's part of the brilliance.
Oh,
why do you think the stock's so high?
Yeah,
it's the robustness of their driver, Brett.
Of course.
Well, I am itching for a trip, and I need to rescue my car, so I'm in for a studio rebuild.
That seems like a really bad time to drive across the country.
Yeah, it really is. Mm-hmm. We do it so you don't have to. Isn't that our thing?
Weren't there a bunch of storms in the middle part?
For the longevity of the van, it just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Would you say van or man?
I would say, I think he could survive it, although he'll get cold unless he gets himself a good heater. But I just think like the salt, the collision, it's just a lot versus just fly over.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah. Anyways.
You mean seed superiority to the air.
I hate to admit it, but there are times. Few and fewer, I believe. Fewer and fewer. But they happen. Okay, boys. I got bad news about Chuck E. Cheese.
Chuck E. Cheese got arrested.
Oh. I know. He got arrested.
That's that tax fraud catching up.
Chuck E. Cheese, what are you doing? Chuck E. Cheese?
You can't have more than one primary residence.
Welcome to Texas.
No, he can't. Or 3 or 4. I don't want to do that either.
This is why I have bedtime wine.
I'm tired and I just want to play with my soundboard. That's what's going on right now. Okay. I got a Brent. I got a Brent screen over there for you, Wes, since that screen isn't working. Can you see it?
Tiny Brent over there. Oh, and I got a cat.
Yeah, there's an Emmett.
There is an Emmett.
Yeah, there's an Emmett.
Great. Well, you're so thoughtful.
Yeah. I don't know.
They will fall asleep at some point during the show, right? Right? That's how it works?
I don't know.
This is ridiculous.
I don't know about that. They're very excited to have you in there. They very much want to be on the show.
I think it's the wood paneling.
Yeah. Man, it's funny because there's a dog in here and there's cats in there, and if the two knew about each other,
If they knew.
Yeah, I know it would be chaos.
they're so dumb.
That's why we didn't link up the smell part of this whole.
Gosh, they're so dumb.
Turn off the smell-o-vision. No, not the keyboard. No.
We are such better predators than they are. It's crazy. It's just crazy.
Certainly internet predators.
Well, God.
Not that kind.
Oh, God.
He went there already.
Went a different direction than I was going with that. All right. We're going to start the members show. Let's see if the Eagle's here. Yep, we got Eagle. Okay. All right.
See you next week.
Yep, we got Batman. Well, whoever Batman's announcer was, we got that.
Announcer man.
That's good. That's good. Okay, here we go, boys. Stand by. It's gonna be good. Hello, members. Into 643 you go. And we're happy to have you here. Hello, Wes.
Hello. Time
Back in
appropriate.
studio. Nice to have you.
It's nice to be back.
Hello, Brentley, in a new location.
Oh, hey there.
Hello.
Well, sort of, kind of, yeah. I'd switch it up for you to keep it interesting.
I like it. I mean, it looks like you got some nice wood paneling, some shelf space.
Mm-hmm.
You got kitties with you.
Yeah, it's
And
cozy.
I saw the behind-the-scene pictures, and he very skillfully, I call it podgenuity, placed a lot of movers blankets in locations to try to get the best sound possible.
Oh, smart.
I do it for Drew.
I don't see any mattresses, but I'll let you slide on that.
Mattresses might not have been needed.
That's
you
true.
know?
You're right.
Movers
It does
blankets.
sound good.
Yeah.
Movers blankets served this network well for many years.
And a fuzzy cat.
Fuzzy cats do help.
That is helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it
squishy.
acts as a
You
base
need the
trap. You
squishy
just
things.
get him to stay still in the right spot.
No, that's the hardest part.
Well, did you have a good Thanksgiving, Wes?
Yeah. It's a lovely Thanksgiving.
You don't do turkey, right?
No, we did do a turkey.
Oh, you did?
Mm-hmm.
I thought you were doing like a red meat, like a prime rib.
No.
No? Okay, tell me, how did your turkey turn out?
Oh, it was good. Yeah. There's a different source this time. There's a meat company, Home Meats, that my folks have used for other, for like a roast type thing or for nice steaks or whatever.
Yeah.
So this was the first turkey I think that we've done from them.
I think I'm going to change my turkey source. We've been getting our turkey from the place we get our steaks, but turns out, it was okay. It's just they're a little too lean for everybody.
Yeah, okay, sure.
So you remember a couple of weeks ago, I was telling you I got a pracky turkey.
I do recall through more work than you desired.
This thing has continued to be a lot of work. So after a long day yesterday, we decide we got to use this turkey up. So we're going to make a turkey today after the show. Well, actually, during the show, Hadia's going to be here making us a Thanksgiving turkey dinner. But you got to brine your bird. You got to brine your bird. And so here it is. We're 8 o'clock at night. We've been out doing stuff with the kids all day. I just want to go home. But we got to go get the bird from her office because that's where we had to stash the bird. We had to stash the bird at her office. We got a free bird from the grocery store. Well, free.
So it didn't actually work out as a practice turkey at all.
Nope. Now it's just we're going to compare a butterball turkey to a like high-end butcher turkey and see if perhaps the butterball isn't actually the better turkey, especially when it comes to the turkey breasts. That's what we're looking for. So we're going to practice that, and we'll see. So while we're doing the show today, Hadia will be here cooking a Thanksgiving turkey that's been brining.
Well, Char's going to love that, right?
And then we'll have to get the hell out of here. We can't be doing a show when there's
No, that won't work.
Yeah.
It'll be you have you get to compare the ovens too, because that was one factor this year is my folks had gotten a new oven since the last time they had hosted Thanksgiving. Because sometimes my aunt hosts it, and this one is finally a convection oven, and so there's a bit of a retiming to do probably because things cooked way faster. It's great.
So what have you been playing around with? You didn't cook your bird with radiation, but you have been playing with radiation. I don't know what this is about, Wes Payne. But you teased it. You said you can ignore it for right now, but it'll be something for the pre-show.
Yeah, that's right. I did say that, didn't I?
I don't even know if I have audio on this. Oh, I do. Wow. Incredible.
You do? Okay, great.
How about that?
Yeah. So we went spelunking. There's like an older shed on the property of my folks' house.
Oh, I
That's
love
got
this already.
All kinds of great stuff. A lot of older, like stuff from the Depression, from my dad's folks, and stuff
Okay.
from the various families' military service, and old hunting stuff, and a bunch of tools. And
Cool.
so my brother had recently bought himself a Geiger counter.
No.
Yeah, after getting in, watching some good videos, a few great content creators online around this stuff.
Of course.
As you would imagine, right? Science communicators. And so he'd been getting into more of the science, which with my physics background, I was like, yeah, great. So he bought himself like a cheap, I don't know, $100 radiation Geiger detector online.
Okay.
And one of his first thoughts, very smartly, was, well, I wonder if there's anything in that old shed. You know, there's a bunch of random stuff down there.
Might as well check, right?
Yeah. And so we were helping my folks out doing some yard work and other, just helping out around the house, getting some wood in for the winter, that kind of thing. And after that, we were down at the shed storing some tools back and all that. And so he brought it out and went spelunking. And for the most part, nothing. But we did find something.
Really? All right.
Okay, so let's see. Microsieverts per hour. Mm-hmm. And I guess let's step over here and just get some general sort of background.
Yeah. Oh, this is cool looking.
Yeah, not much.
If we go to counts per minute.
So what we're looking at is more like the size of an old pager.
Yeah, sure.
When you said Geiger counter,
Or like a pie in a case, maybe.
yeah, well, okay, well, yeah, like a 3D printed case. So, when you said Geiger counter, I was picturing something much larger. So you could just have this in your pocket.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's reading 13 CPM right now. That's a low reading.
Yeah, so that's like a background reading. And
Okay.
CPM is a silly measurement because it's really just sort of like how many like counts of how getting detected is it versus like actual something you'd use clinically. So we'll use microsieverts as the real measurement, but that at least sort of gives you a sense of just how many events are you detecting at all.
I see. Okay. All right. So 13 CPM. CPM.
Yeah, usually it's somewhere between like 7 to 15 from what I've seen, just leaving it on.
Just
For
general
your general
background.
background radiation, yeah, not very high.
And then if we walk over this way,
It's a red box. Oh boy.
Already.
Oh boy.
Just being there.
yeah. So just outside of this old Tiger chewing tobacco box.
That's a cool box.
Yeah, right?
We're at 1.5 microsieverts per hour. And then if we
You gonna open it?
open her up,
Whoa, there's just a tiny pouch of something.
Yep.
It almost looks like an incense pouch or something. It's just tiny.
There we go, put it in front of the bag.
Wow, it's really going crazy when you go inside the box. It's a metal box, as you can hear.
11 was what the seed topped, I think, there. So the bag helps a little bit. I wonder if it's lined with anything.
yeah, and then we were maybe getting to 20 or so.
Yeah, well, out of the bag.
Yeah, I bet it does. I bet it.
23
I would
was
hope
the
it has a
highest.
limit.
Yeah.
What the heck was that?
Yeah, and then I have some photos. Let's see here.
Wow. I mean, it's crazy when you go inside, you open up. First of all, it's a cool metal tin can. That was really neat.
Yeah, totally. That was actually something we just found laying around, also just in the shed. But that was like what can we put this in until we assess more? So yeah, what you'll see is like a little yellow disc.
Yeah.
What do you think that is?
Well, it's got to be some sort of rock material or paint that has, it's got to be like it looks like something that hooks on to something.
Yeah, and then the other side here is you can see there's like a little belt-looking clip thing on there.
I have no idea. Brent, do you have any guesses what the heck this thing could be?
Man, can we see the first side again?
All right, so I'm looking at it. I don't even know how to describe this to the audience. It's like a flat disc inside a metal ring with hooks and maybe a bolt hole on it, and an arm that comes off one side.
It does look like a belt loop. So I'm gonna call this a very early headlamp. so you can like charge it up
Whoa.
by shining light on it. Kind of like, you know how your watch has,
Yeah, and then
I don't know, some bioluminescent kind of
it's
stuff.
like a
in it. Maybe
glow
not
in the dark
bioluminescent,
thing.
But,
Okay.
And then you can clip that, I don't know, on your hat or your jacket or something and use that to illuminate things.
And radiate your brain.
My best guess.
He is pretty darn close. Yes.
Okay.
So these are, I guess they started getting used maybe in the 30s through the 60s. They are radioluminescent personnel markers. And yeah, the idea was instead of having to use flashlights or other things, you could have these give off a low level of light, and you attach it to your helmet or you're somewhere on your person. And then they also had versions for like on the decks of ships and stuff.
That seems dangerous.
Yeah, we were getting somewhere like that was 11. I did another recording where we got up to like 60 when we were like right next to it. When we were holding it out in the open air, it was like maybe 20 microsieverts an hour. Anyway, all of that's roughly around about an X-ray an hour. I guess if you're going into battle, that's not maybe a huge concern. For your general life, maybe you don't want to hang around it too much.
And even when
do
it's
you
not
know-
shining, it's still giving off radiation. So
Yeah.
even when it's in like a non-useful state.
It should be mostly gamma radiation, so photons, just because it is encased in like a little, it's radium 226 encased in, like there is some plexiglass around it, which should block sort of the bigger stuff.
Is something like that
Should.
something you can sell? Like, can anybody buy that? Or is it considered hazardous? Like,
It's a good
I
question.
don't
It
think
does
you can
say,
ship it.
it's hard to tell from that picture, but some of the pictures online, it does say poison inside on the back. I guess in the 40s, they classified radioactive material as poison for the, terms of transportation.
better late than never, I
Yeah.
guess.
I did see some older listings, nothing on eBay. There are some sites. I saw like a €350 listing, but from who knows. It seemed like a very specialist website.
Huh.
I was going to ask you the half-life of it. Like maybe it used to be more powerful than previous, but it looks like radium-226 has a half-life of approximately 1,600 years.
Yeah.
So it should last a while.
It should last a while.
Good family heirloom, that.
Right?
Pass
it
that
on
one down, yeah.
If you live that long.
Do you know the history of that particular device? Like someone in your family used it?
Yeah, I
Either it was
believe.
for mining or something.
No, my grandfather was in World War II and just was a chief in the Navy. And so I believe.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's also
Wow.
phosphor on there. And so the particles that shoot out from the radium light up the phosphor. And so that's, I guess my dad was saying he always just called it it was like a phosphor disc that he had in the war. And my dad didn't know it was radioactive or
No,
think
I'm
too
sure
much
most,
of it.
most of them didn't.
Yeah.
Do you see any like radiance coming off it now?
No, we didn't look at it in like pure darkness. And I think you can, as you were suggesting, Brent, like kind of
Shine.
charge it up
Yeah.
with a light first.
Okay.
So we did not try that. I'll have to try that next time I'm there.
Neat.
Yeah, it would be really cool. If it
Yeah,
glows
can I
like
actually
that.
still use it?
Yeah, I mean, you think it would, right? You think it would still work.
You would.
Oh, that's
I
pretty
love
cool.
this show and tell. That's great.
All
What
right.
did you bring, Chris?
Well, what I brought to class is not nearly as neat. In fact, mine deserves a fail horn.
Uh-oh.
My Starlink is dying a very horrible death.
What?
Yes, it's very sad. I'm going to give myself the fail horn.
Oh my God.
So we got Jupes washed and waxed.
Sounds great.
Nice wax.
Mhm.
And I think...
You're talking a lot about the wax, though.
Yeah, well, I think it created a slickness in which the suction cups that mount the Starlink did not perhaps hold as well as they have in the past. And we've had some windstorms this November, and about 2 weeks ago we had a good one. And I got home, and I noticed the internet was slow, and I kind of grumbled to the wife, like, "Oh, the internet's really slow." She's like, "Oh yeah, the Starlink fell over." I didn't want to say anything because you were
no.
busy, but I'm like, "What? Yeah, the Starlink fell over." And so I went out there and took a look at it, and I knew I was in trouble because it fell down on a rock, and it kind of cracked right on the rim.
That's probably not great for whatever sort of dish stuff it's doing, huh?
No, and it was awful weather outside, so I put it up again just to get it out of the wet and the dirt, and then promptly forgot about it. And then about so that was about 2 weeks ago. And then about 3 days ago, I started getting cable disconnected errors. So I go out there, of course, weather's crap again. I go out there and I pull it off the pole and I disconnect and reconnect the connection, and I go back in and I boot it back up, and about every 5 seconds, cable disconnected errors. And I remember, oh, right, it fell. We've just been so busy, I kind of forgot. which is unusual for me for the technology stuff, but it's just what it is. And it had been working, I think is why. So I go to Grok, I think it was, and I type in the errors that I'm getting, and I kind of gave it a history of what happened. And Grok comes back with, this is like the number one failure state of these dishes. This is like the number one thing users report. It falls over, cracks. A couple of weeks go by, and then first thing starts to go is the cable, and it explains why, because of the way it's wired and the way it's designed, that's why the cable goes first. But then it says, don't worry, the rest of the thing's going too. It's just a matter of time. Oh, and it's such a bummer, right? Because I obviously do a lot of work online.
Yeah.
And then I got 3 kids and all that, and streaming services and blah blah blah. So we've been on cellular now for the last 3 days, and it's so painfully slow. And I'm really debating if I should just pull the trigger and replace it with the performance dish. So you can get. I'm out of warranty because I've had this dish since 2022. But I can order a replacement dish, but I have to pay full price.
Mm.
So it's like $500 for a replacement standard dish, or like $400, or something like $1,900 for the performance
not even
dish.
more than double. Gosh,
Yeah.
that's a little rough.
Yeah.
I have a crazy suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
Some sort of vibe
Do you
dish
remember that?
trade.
Do you remember that tiny little electronics store that we found with those cool guys who had a bunch of crazy old radios?
You think I should
in
have
it?
them fix it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Could be
maybe.
a fun recording.
Yeah. There's already this. Okay, we don't have I don't really have workable from home internet. At least nothing serious. It's like if I order something, I'm gonna have to wait. If I take something in, I have to wait. I don't know. And then if I want to go to the performance dish anyways, which I'm inclined to because I think it's a pretty legitimate business write-off.
Sure, yeah.
Then you get up to 600 megabits on the Starlink, which would be huge to be able to go from 100-ish to go to 600.
But would you, considering it's overcrowded already in your area, et cetera?
I'm not so sure about that, but I still think I'd probably have a better shot of better performance.
Yeah.
The other thing is it's designed with an aluminum housing that's designed to be a little more robust in the wind and take falls. And lastly, it's designed to run directly off of Ethernet, so it doesn't require their router to be the middleman providing power.
That's nice.
You just give it PoE. It's not.
Oh,
I know, it'd be nice, and then it's DC too, which is great.
Oh, you're coming up with a lot of great reasons.
I know, it's just the cost is crazy. If JB was flush with cash, I would probably make it. I would it'd probably be a justifiable JB purchase because undoubtedly it's required when we're doing live shows from the RV, which happens a few times a year. But I'm going to end up buying it myself personally. Not that I'm just going to buy it myself because we also use it a lot for personal use too. So it's a mixed thing. I have to figure that all out, but I haven't decided yet. But the longer I wait to make a decision, obviously, on what direction to go, the longer I have LTE service, which is just horrible. Horrible when you have a family of 5. It's really
it's hard for just you, honestly.
Yeah, and you know what?
You can make a deal.
You know what? It's oddly, and if any members out there, if you live on LTE, you know this problem. At least here in the States, for some reason, Docker polls, or really any kind of image-based polls, like for OS Tree, where there's multiple layers. I updated the Big D this morning. Probably 20 minutes to pull down all the layers. It would probably take, I bet if we did it right here, I bet you would take 45 seconds.
Yeah, probably.
There's something about, and
they are big opaque tar balls, so I could see,
they must throttle it.
Yeah, that probably looks a lot like it could be anything, a big video or whatever, just like you're doing a massive throughput.
It's actually, I don't remember the command off the top of my head, but there is a way to put Docker Compose into classic mode where it sequentially downloads the images. And that can actually sometimes be faster.
Interesting.
But it's just that times 100. Little shit like that times 100. They're always always smashing the crap out of YouTube. You want to watch something on YouTube? Well, you're going to wait 20 seconds for the video to start because AT&T is busy throttling it, so the YouTube servers are smashing against their throttle, figuring out what they can get through to me, and by the time they finally decide on 360p, then my video starts, right? And that just shit doesn't happen on Starlink. They don't play those games. So it's all that. Sucks. I should have, and I would have if it wasn't so wet and gross out in the middle of a storm. I would have just epoxied it at least.
Sure, yeah.
That's what I should have done. It's a shame. Because I'm not ready to replace this. I would have rather waited for a little bit.
Is Amazon's competition there yet? Maybe their design's more robust.
I know. The Leo, they're
Leo,
claiming,
yeah.
They claim like one of their services, which I'm sure is going to be expensive as hell, have a gigabit. I think they said that.
Ooh.
Wow.
I think that's what they said, boys. I think that's what they said. Okay, enough with my whining. Brent, do you have anything to share with the class before we do a little news?
I'll fix your Starlink if you ship it to me, but I might only send it in like 6 months. There you go.
Well, the LVFS project has a wee bit of news, and I think it's good news at that. Richard Hughes announced that Framework is the first hardware vendor that has actually signed the paperwork. He says, quote, half a dozen OEMs have promised to sponsor LVFS. Framework is the first to have actually signed it. So LVFS now has hardware, or has a vendor backing it, a hardware vendor. Even though on their rating page, they don't actually, LVFS doesn't give Framework a perfect rating. It's kind of funny. But they are now listed as a startup level sponsor, where they get green marks. They're responsible for 41 firmware files and 26 uploaded in the last 6 months. That's great. Where they get a bad mark is it does not have product security incident response team. Interesting. I don't know. Okay, that's probably good. It would be a good thing to have. I don't know if seems like a weird thing to knock them on a firmware status page, but I guess it makes sense to me. But either way, thoughts, West Payne Framework supporting LVFS. Good things, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm kind of surprised it hasn't happened before, but I'm glad it's happening now. And as Richard Hughes points out, not only is it just helpful in and of itself, but hopefully this continues to apply pressure to other folks in the ecosystem. Like, look, they're doing it. You've made words
That's
about
true.
this.
Yep.
Are you going to follow through? Because
Hughes followed
Money
up.
talks.
He said, I want to say huge thanks to Framework, not just for the sponsorship, but also for the pressure they've put on their suppliers to support FWUPD and LVFS. I'm a big fan of reducing e-waste and replacing my electronics, and I'm glad to be helping in a small way with that. Thanks again. He didn't have to add that part. That was something he followed up with. And I just wanted to note it because it's a very important project, and it's really good to actually see a vendor step up. Who will be next?
I thought this was interesting. Sounds like it was in the works for a while, so even a smaller company kind of, this can take a little bit. The slowest part was actually getting the agreements written up, of course, you got to do the lawyering, and setting up the ability for the Linux Foundation to take a donation specifically for just one project.
Oh, interesting.
Framework were ready before we were. That's fascinating. But that's just kind of and at least even then, I guess it's nice that there is even the foundation there to do any of that kind of stuff, which surely, LVFS probably doesn't want to manage itself.
All right, the News Eagle has one more story for us.
Ooh.
The Plasma folks have made it official. They are going all in on their Wayland future. They write, well, folks, it's the beginning of a new era. After nearly 3 decades of KDE desktop environments running on X11, the future of KDE Plasma 6.8 release will be Wayland exclusive. Support for X11 applications will be fully entrusted to X Wayland, and the Plasma X11 session will no longer be included. They go on to say that the Plasma X11 session will still be supported by KDE into early 2027. We cannot provide a specific date as we're exploring the possibility of shipping some extra bug fix releases for Plasma 6.7. The exact timing of that last one will only be known when we get closer to its actual release, which is expected to be sometime in early 2027. Now, they say, what if I really need X11? Well, that's a perfect use case for the long-term support distributions that are shipping older versions of Plasma. For example, Alma Linux 9 includes Plasma X11 session and will be supported until sometime in 2032. So there are means to get your X11 in Plasma too. And GNOME's already made this transition. I have to imagine It's just a hell of a lot simpler from a code base perspective.
Yeah. No one wants to drag around legacy dependencies. I mean, whole alternative code paths for everything, right? You have to have the X version, you have to have the Wayland version.
And I know engineers, they love to change things, and they love to build towards the future. Even if Wayland doesn't have everything today that they might need, they'll build towards it.
Well, also, we like seeing PRs with a lot of red and deleted lines. So, you got to factor that in too.
It does look good. It's Christmas.
Those are the best.
Yeah. Okay. What do you think of this, Brent? Where one project closes a door, another opens a window. We have Sonic DE. It's kind of a start of like a light KDE that's going to focus on maintaining X11 support. What do you think?
I love the fact that this often happens, with projects as they go away. We saw that with, Ubuntu's desktop. That's so beloved. I think it's great. Usually they get a lot less attention, but some people love it and want it. So bring it on. I wonder about the naming Sonic. I mean, who doesn't like the Hedgehog? But
that's true. I think they actually wanted to go KDE Lite, but were requested by the KDE management team to not
do something else. Fair.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that it seems like at least one of the core folks involved who set up at least some of the repos for this new GitHub org is Joseph Crowell. I don't know if I'm saying that wrong. Sorry if not. Who seems to be an Australian associated with a company called ComputerLink, which offers comprehensive and innovative POS systems for small to medium business. So that maybe makes some sense if this was kind of built and optimized around X11, maybe for not super powerful machines and who knows what other legacy.
Have a whole fleet of them out there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a business case.
Well, I
don't know if they're connected, but that just struck me as interesting.
Interesting indeed, Wes. And I think it's nice from a standpoint of, in a few years, when I get a wild hair, I want to fire up a decade-old machine. I could potentially use the Sonic DE.
32-bit challenge round 2. X11 only.
I want to get my X11 on for some reason. Hey, it happens. You never know. Sometimes you're just feeling nostalgic. All right. Well, now I got a little pro tip for everybody.
Oh, it gets dangerous.
Wes and I were playing around with this a little bit last night, and it is a combination of a couple of great resources on the internet. First up is Awesome IPTV, which is a curated list of resources that are related to IPTV. And I guess put another way, it's a bunch of online web apps, desktop apps, Android apps, iOS apps that just make watching RTMP and RTSP and online internet streams really easy. And there's some really interesting web-based one. There's right there in the list, VidGrid and IPTVinator, or whatever, IPTVinator. Really neat web apps. Like, you could watch 4 videos at once. I love that. Put the different news channels.
VidGrid.
Yeah, VidGrid, baby. News channels. And they include a list on their own, those apps. So anyways, I'm telling you about that because there's a list of apps, be it for your gosh darn desktop, your gosh darn mobs, whatever. Then you take those apps and you plug in the collection of publicly available IPTV channels from all over the world. And what they got here is essentially resources for every different country's streams that are online. And you would be surprised what's just out there. In the US version, there are hundreds of channels, hundreds. And last night, Wes and I tuned into Star Trek, the 2009 one, maybe?
I think so, yeah, one of those, definitely.
It was the 2009 Star Trek. I saw several.
Streaming on Comet.
Yep. There's some Pluto channels on. There's a lot. There's ABC is on there. NBC is on there. There's a lot of commercial channels on there. There's a lot of public access channels on there. A lot of weirdo channels on there. It's really something. But if you have cut the cord, but you would still like some live TV from time to time, or you want to catch the news when news is breaking, you can take this M3U and you can pop it into your IP player of choice. There's some great ones for Apple TV and for Android. And then it will just show you all of the channels. And you can just sit there and scroll through them. And what I'm doing is I'm kind of just making a list of the ones that are great with good resolution. Like there's 1080p and 2K streams on
Yeah,
here.
it's wild.
They're not slouch streams.
No.
I was watching another movie in 2K last night. It's bonkers. And so you go through and you just make the ones that work. You make your own M3U file over time. And then you just have like a condensed list. So you need a player. And then you need one of these M3U files, and they got them for all over the world, and you can pick where you want to get it from. They've got detailed instructions, but it's like as simple as if you want to just play around with this in VLC, open up VLC, go look up this list I'm talking about for this list, which is, you can look up at, it's iptv-org on GitHub, and then it's the IPTV repository. They have a URL, the M3 URL that you can put in VLC, and VLC will just render all the channels in the playlist window. And you can sit there and browse through it, and VLC will just play them one by one as you choose. It's so crazy what's available for free on an unencrypted video stream. I mean, I was shocked. I knew it, but I was shocked.
They're just hanging out there. Some of them need some like refers or headers or whatever, but
Yeah,
even that, like, it's not that hard.
Not
And
all of them
most
are-
of these things that support them.
Not all of them are 24/7. Not all of them are 24/7, but most of them are. Stupid cool. So it's just great. You know, so this combined with Ursat's TV, I mean, I'm thinking about killing the YouTube TV subscription. I just got to make sure the news channels are there.
Didn't they announce they're like get mixing up what they're offering for YouTube TV coming in the new year?
Oh,
I saw some sort of like
Better-
cheaper plans,
it better
maybe like
be.
a sports centric one.
it better be.
Not that that's yours, but
I just want the news. That's really all I want is news and local channels. I
look,
want
you know it's impossible to offer a la carte channels.
No, it
That's
can't be done.
It can't be done.
no. There's no way.
It's a technical limitation.
So, anyways, I had to give that a shout out because I was so blown away by it. And there's just so many effing playlists and channels just hanging out there. You know, it's like when you first get over the air and you got a place that's got good service.
Yeah, you're like, what? This was here.
This has
I'm
been
just
here
bathing in it.
This has been here the whole time, and I could just get access to it. It felt kind of like that. You know that feeling? If you got a feeling like that, if you've ever found something you're like, people don't know about, why aren't people talking about this? Call the launch and tell me about it, all right? Call the launch.
Well, I'm just going to make a quick call to my launch. I haven't checked in since yesterday. 774-462-5667. That's it. All right. 774-462-5667. Call now. Put some macaroni and cheese on there, too.
1-774-462-5667. Call the launch.
Such a nice ring to it, that one.
It's really nice of Hank to take, you know, he does a lot of work at Strickland Propane.
He takes all your voicemails, too. It's nice.
He's a good guy. He's a real good guy.
Even though, I mean, how does he feel about you being such a diesel heater stand?
Yeah, you know,
I
actually,
don't know if that can. There's certainly, I don't know if it could compare with the clean burning.
I actually wish it was a propane heater because propane tanks are a lot cleaner to move around. I
Right.
tell you what.
You're never complaining about how your hands smell like propane.
Right. I'm not dripping propane every time I fill the thing up. You know?
Could you imagine?
Gotta be awful. Okay, our chat room is open if you're watching on one of the video platforms and you want to like help us suggest a title, or you want to get in that chat room and give it a live vibe. You want to get in our Matrix chat. And we'll be checking in on the video chats over there. I see the Ramos over on YouTube and others, but the Matrix chat is the main chat. And then, of course, we have the Mumble Room where like Mini Mac is hanging out right now. Hey, Manny Mac, how's it going?
Hello, doing fine, thanks.
We need to get more people in the on air so we can say time appropriate greetings to the Mumble Room. We gotta come on.
And it's not fair to make Mini Mac do all the hard work.
Yeah, we need some people to get in there and help out with poor old Mini Mac. I think what we'll do is we could take a quick break because I can tell Brent needs a quick intermission. I can see it in
He's
his
got
face.
a sort of hungry stare going on.
Mhm.
Hey, you know me well.
So we'll take a quick intermission, and then when we come back, I'd like to have a few more people in the Mumble Room if you could do it so we at least get a nice hey, a nice shout when we start the show, which will be in just a few moments. We're getting really close.
You don't want the audience to think nobody listens.
Right? It'd be weird. Okay. I say let's get out of here. We'll be back in just a moment.
Chris found love, but it's complicated, man. Turns out he's in love with another man's van. Rescued from the brink, should've never worked. worked it all. Fixed fuel leaks in Jeff's yard, praying it wouldn't stall.
Right?
Yeah, Chris loves another man's van. Brought her back to life. Now he's her biggest fan. Holding our breath, each cop that we pass. They don't build them like they used to. This van kicks ass. The 1,800 miles along the coast we cruised. Brent's heart fell deeper every turn he used. Chris felt the spark, he just couldn't resist. Old van charm, man, it shouldn't feel like this. Yeah, Chris loves another man's van. Brought her back to life, now he's her biggest fan. Holding our breath, each cop that we pass. They don't build them like they used to. And this van kicks ass. Back in the studio after one hell of a ride, laughing how we made it. Somehow we survived, leaking fuel lines, fate held by a thread. But Chris fell harder with each mile ahead. We never knew if we made it. Chris found his love in a van. Sorry, Brent, it's complicated.
The wife is here. The turkey is officially getting cooked. We're doing another Thanksgiving turkey today. Why? Well, because we had an extra turkey. And now we're going to do a comparison to see if a boutique shop turkey is better, or if the butcher, or I mean, like the butcher's turkey, or if the Butterball turkey. I know. These things really matter. Well, now we got a mumble room. Hi, everybody. Hello. Hi.
Hello, boys.
How you doing?
Hi. Well, we're going to get started. Thank you for making it. Glad we have some people in there. Woo, it's chilly, huh? I cracked that window and it's already chilly in here. Oh, it's the opposite problem we've had just a couple of months ago. There you go. Here you go.
We got to heat it up with a fresh show.
Yeah, we do. We lost a Brent, though.
No.
We have no
Oh,
Brent.
man.
I know.
Well, we can kind of snoop on his environment.
I bet what happened is he went out into the cold and...
He might not ever come back.
Yep. It's that cold up there. It's very serious.
I was thinking it was the call of the moose, right? Like he sees one off in the distance. He just starts wandering with the herd.
Yeah. Just gets right to it. Right to it. Okay, so I have... Okay, that's the close. I like that combo, actually. You know, whenever I can sneak that eagle in, I'm all about it. All right, if you'd like to support this episode, we don't have like a terrible boost level, but we could still use some support. It's not great. It's not bankrupt, but it's not great. You still have a chance to get a live boost in before we collect them.
And we like hearing from you.
You know what I mean?
I do.
Mm-hmm.
Were those some sort of phasers that you were?
They're plasma rifles, Wes. They're built into my arms. Yeah, my arms turn into plasma rifles. It's pretty handy.
I knew that they turned into instant read thermometers, but I didn't know that multiple function.
Yeah, I got both. Yeah, I got both. Took a little extra, but I figured while they're in there, might as well. You're a YouTube music guy, right? That's your main music service?
Yeah, I have, my own pile of flax and stuff too.
Yeah. I just can't get around it. I think the YouTube music for me, I mean, I'm not a fan of I think the audio quality is just not that good, but I feel like their recommendation system beats kind of like all the others.
Yeah. And that's mostly like I mostly listen to it on a Bluetooth speaker or in the car, and so the quality issues aren't like. There are times where maybe I really want, I want to sit down with headphones and like really listen, and maybe I go somewhere else. But
It's background.
Yeah.
It's background. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, thinking about.
But yeah, it does. That is, it's not perfect, but it does do a decent job of exposing me to stuff that I'm like, okay, yeah, I do like that. Thank you.
It's insidious.
It is.
I've been kind of using it to find stuff, and then I'll kind of, if I really like the song, try to go off the platform for that.
Right.
But
go make playlists elsewhere.
Hi, Brentley. Welcome back.
Welcome back, buddy.
Glad to have you.
Well, thank you.
Are you ready to record over there on your end, sir?
Yeah, I'm strangely organized.
Okay.
Does that mean you're organized and you're surprised, or you're organized but in a very new and strange way?
Yeah.
Or possibly
I
both,
wasn't
both
sure what that
cases
meant
at
either.
once.
Both.
He's put the top of the show at the bottom, and
We're going to shake it all around. Do-do-ba-do-boop-boop.
Who invited cats in the studio? This is terrible.
Boy, they are up in your biz today. In a way, they're not typically biz-oriented.
Oh, what the heck?
What do you attribute this newfound biz bothering? What do you think it's just because it's exciting new space?
I think I smell delicious.
I was going to say, you got some food in your pocket?
No, it is partly a new space, and I haven't spent, I've been a bad dad. I haven't spent enough time with them the last couple of days, so they're all like, ooh, human, warm human.
The secret comes out!
it's our buddy Brent. We haven't seen him for a while.
Brent's got to add to his weekly to-do list pre-show lovin'.
Pre-show 11. Got to
Pre-show-
put that on the list. Yeah,
pre-show 11.
yeah. Otherwise, this happens, which is just chaos. I don't know if I'm going to survive here.
It's one.
ridiculous.
He has one cat in the lap. Then that cat leaves. The next cat comes in the lap. Then it's just they're rotating in the lap there.
And before the show started, I was like, no, it'll be fine. They always just like snooze the whole time because it's napping. Well, 3 hours.
Dad's just yapping again.
But then they're just like, guys, I got a show to do. It's ridiculous.
When will pets learn?
Stupid animals. Okay, get yourself ready. We're gonna do a show. We're gonna do it. Let's record in 3, 2, 1. Record. Hello, Drew.
I did it.
Hello,
Drew.
All right, boys, get ready for our 4 count. Let's do that now. In 1, 2, 3, 4.
4.
All right.
I'm
Nice.
hearing bubbles.
Yeah, there was a notification in the background. There's a notification.
How do our tracks and such look reasonable? Just given
think
there's
so.
odd things about in
We
the
got
studio.
Mumble's a little hot, but I like
We
it.
like 'em. We like them on.
Woo, woo. But yeah, I think so. I don't know if anybody listening, you have any comments. Now would be the time. Cat tax.
Drew, I apologize for the purring.
Have you fed them? Maybe you just need to feed them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're monsters. They're kind of like me, though, I got to say.
They do. Yeah, they like to eat a lot.
That's so true. Oh, my God.
All right, here we go in 3, in 2. Hello, friends, and welcome back to your weekly Linux talk show. My name is Chris.
My name is Wes.
And my name is Brent.
Hello, the gentlemen. Well, coming up on this week's of the show, we're going to stop the clock a little bit, pull a few loose threads from recent episodes, and, well, some of them may unravel into something that we didn't expect. But the idea is to catch up on a few things and then round out the show with some great boosts, some picks, and a lot more. So before we get there, let's do a little business and say time-appropriate greetings to our virtual lug. Hello, Mumble Room.
Hey, how you doing? Hello, Brent.
Hello, and hello all you up there in the quiet listening and everybody out there on the streams. Thank you for being here this morning. And a big good morning to our friends over at Defined Networking. Go check out Manage Nebula at defined.net/unplugged. They're taking it all day long and making a network. They've taken the Nebula project and they've made it easy for anyone to use. When you go to defined.net/unplugged, you can sign up for 100 devices for free, no credit card required, and try out the world's most robust, industry-leading mesh network. One of the things that I've learned over the years is that when I'm building my infrastructure, I want something that will last a long time. And when you really wrap your head around how useful a mesh network is, I mean, it's next level. It will completely change the way you do networking for the better. And so when you start to really think that way, you also start thinking long term. And what I love about Nebula is absolutely everything is self-hostable. It's not just sort of like a secondary thing that they kind of have available. It's how they build the product. It started that way back in 2017 from the very get-go to protect Slack. They had to build it ready to go. And now they've made it easy for anyone to use. And at any point you want to self-host the infrastructure, you can. So support the show and get started by going to defined.net/unplugged. Redefine your VPN experience today. Defined.net/unplugged. So I want to make sure that we remind everybody that we want your submissions. We've got a nice batch. We don't need thousands, but I'd like to have some more because just around the corner, it's something special for the holidays. It's the Great Holiday Home Lab. It is that magical time of year. Hopefully your servers are humming. Someone out there's NAS is running in a cardboard box, no doubt. We want to see it all from the best home labs to the worst. Send them in. It's our Great Holiday Home Lab. The first ever. Go to linuxunplugged.com/holiday, where we will redirect you to a Google form. If you don't want to use the Google form, you can make our jobs harder by going to linuxunplugged.com/oldfart, and then you can figure out how to take that and put it into an email with links to stuff and make it work good, because it doesn't work good. I don't know if I'm even going to have the time. I'm just telling you. But that's linuxunplugged.com/oldfart. Submit some photos, short descriptions, your hardware list. Tell us what your home lab actually does. We're going to have some awards to give away. The Grand Rack Award, the Silver Pseudo Award, the Best Effort Award, and then the LUP Rescue Mission for the home lab that really needs it. And we may even make an episode out of that one in the future. So we'll be scoring them on functionality, design, ingenuity, efficiency, documentation, personality, effort. We've had some other suggestions we may be incorporating. So the entries are open right now. Get your home lab in. It doesn't have to be a killer, although you're welcome to show off a killer. And later in December, we'll be kicking off the Great Home Lab. What do you call it? I guess voting? No. Results? I guess it's the results. It's the results show. The award show? I don't know.
Home Lab Review.
We are giving away some awards, so I guess it's technically going to be an award show. I don't know if we'll call it that. That doesn't matter. What matters is don't be a procrastinator. Go to linuxunplugged.com/holiday. Get them in, so that way we can all have a magical home lab holiday thing. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to see people send in.
Yeah, think about it. Some people will be away from their home labs at the holidays, so this maybe will help them feel like they're home. Lab.
So, one of the challenges of doing a weekly show is finding time to stop and talk about stuff we've already talked about, because you're always kind of moving forward. And sometimes we cover something and our thoughts change on it. We use it for a while, or a project changes or has updates. And that's really just one example. Probably I could give you hundreds. And it's something I wish we could do more often, because there is going to be some recency bias when we do this sort of thing. So it'd be nice if we could do a little more often. But as we kind of in the holiday season, thought this would be a good time to look at some of our leftovers. And I want to touch on something that came up recently on the show. I came up with a really fun way to spin up an ngrok tunnel on demand. And then Wes comes along and says, why don't you try Jelly Swarm instead? And I thought, okay. The Jelly Swarm, if you don't remember, brings all your Jellyfin servers together in one proxied interface. You can have multiple Jellyfin servers on private networks, and then depending on how you make that networking work, you can kind of watch them all from one place. And that was essentially what I was trying to accomplish. So I do have an old VPS that I say is sort of in orbit around Lady Jupes, and that is already on my mesh network. So that just made sense, because that server can already talk to the Jellyfin server.
Problem solved.
And it has a public IP. So I quite easily installed Jelly Swarm on this VPS.
You probably just Docker container or something?
Yeah, yeah. Really quick, because it's an old Ubuntu LTS system. And boy, that's it. Man, it's like because I already was on my mesh network, I just gave it the IP of my Jellyfin server and the credentials. I love the way it does the mapping for user logins and accounts. And it works so great that I'm just totally going to rip out that ngrok tunnel for Jellyfin.
You're not going to make it like turn on your swarm or something?
What I'm going to do is I'm going to use that ngrok setup, or maybe another setup I'll come back to, for Nextcloud and UTAR, which I'll talk about in a moment. But I might just leave my swarm on all the time. I might just leave it on all the time.
All right. I like it.
I'm thinking about that. So
Swarm on.
I'm a wee bit sad because you were so proud of that ngrok setup, and then Wes just came along and was like, well, here you go. It's already solved for you. And it's even better.
It is better. It's a jellyfin specific solution. And in my opinion, if you're comfortable setting this kind of thing up, it more than answers the Plex sharing problem. To me, it's a solved problem now. So that's really nice. But I do think there is use for network tunnels. I still think there is.
Yeah, definitely. Of course.
Sweepy posted, I was yelling pangolin at my screen hearing you talk about the ngrok for jellyfin access. Pangolin supports a variety of auth methods, including temporary shared links that you could drop right in your setup. And it's an identity-aware, tunneled reverse proxy server that comes with a dashboard UI. You can do self-hosted version, and it has a reverse proxy server with identity and context-aware access controls, designed to easily expose and protect applications running anywhere. It can act as a central hub that connects isolated networks, even those behind restrictive firewalls, through encrypted tunnels, enabling easy access to remote services without opening ports or requiring a VPN. I was aware of this project, but kind of like ngrok, I'd never really used it, and so for some reason it didn't come to mind. But I kind of
Well, you
wonder,
are only kind of using.
Yes.
Right. Let's like set up an authenticated identity-aware project specifically to only use a temporary access part of it, maybe?
I was wondering your take on this. Do you think this is overkill?
But, I mean, and it depends, because depending on how much friction there is, that might not actually be a bad thing at all. And you might find, as usual with good software, that you like other aspects of it, or you want to use it to expose more. Maybe you expose more of your things if they're all put behind, 2FA'd proper authentication.
I do like that it's AGPL3 and you can self-host it.
Yeah, it is a neat project. I've only played with it, set it up as a test one time, but I know a lot of people do seem to like it.
Well, Sweepy sure does. He was screaming at it.
We got multiple folks writing in about Pangolin, both in the Matrix and across a few channels.
And I saw his package for NixOS with some options.
Wow, now you don't have an excuse. If you could just turn it on with a quick option.
Here's what I'm going to use my ngrok tunnel for, or maybe Pangolin.
I do think it would be, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I do think it would be informative, maybe, to set it up and just see what the actual swap out from ngrok to Pangolin would be like as a potential way to evaluate, like, what do you like about it?
Yeah, my first impressions was...
Even if you throw it all away.
It was a lot. It was my first impression. It's a lot. I do like... So it has a dashboard where you can toggle tunnels on and off and stuff like that and see the status.
API.
But I'm already achieving that same thing with Home Assistant, which is already a workflow I already use and my family uses. I imagine I could probably do the same thing with Pangolin.
Yeah.
Probably tied in Home Assistant, no problem. But I sort of solved for that problem already. I don't really need a dashboard.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right, so here's what I will be using a tunnel for. Not for me, actually, but for the wife. And this is an app pick that we had that was on my radar. Wanted to try it more. Wes found it, and the audience wrote and said, this is really good. And I'm like, okay, this week I'm going to try UTAR. It, as you might recall, is a self-hosted web app that automates downloading, organizing, and scheduling YouTube channel content. All flat pinch, or pinch flat, sorry. But a couple of things I like a little bit better. It's a lot better at one-off video downloads. That's killer for what my wife wanted. So this is a common scenario that happens a few times a week. It's not horrible, but it's a few times a week. I get a telegram from the wife that says, hey, so-and-so said we should really check out this video. Can you grab it for us? I'm like, yeah, no problem. No problem. I'll go get it. And I've been doing that for years. And then this comes along, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. If I combine this with the ngrok tunnel, she can just plug the URL in at work.
Yes.
And then when she gets home, they're all queued up on the Jellyfin server, ready to go. And we don't have to watch them over YouTube, over our crappy LTE connection at the moment.
I love that.
You're like outsourcing your main purpose.
I mean, I've thought about this so much over the years, both for myself and for, past partners. Like, I think at one point I had a basic CGI form that would just run YGTLP and dump it to like a Dropbox. Or I've thought about, a web interface you could load in videos that would just sort of get mixed into a live stream that you constantly Chromecasted. But now that everything just integrates with Jellyfin, I mean, that's the way to go.
So what's really great is, and I hadn't played with this before, we talked about this as a pick, is it has integrated sponsor block. And so that's really nice. I don't go crazy with that, but as somebody who's made videos and audio for a long time. I hate the double intro where they tell you what they're gonna tell you, then they do an intro, and then they tell you what they're gonna tell you again. Oh my God, it drives me crazy. It's such a waste of time. So like Sponsor Block lets you skip intros and stuff like that. I'm all about that. I don't need to see their $75 motion graphics that they paid for for their YouTube channel
every single
time with their music they think is super great and all of that. So it just lets me skip all of that integrated. But then the other thing that's really fantastic, I'm not a Plex user, but it will still download metadata information and NFO and thumbnails and whatnot and save them in a format that Jellyfin just immediately ingests. So when she sits down and pulls up Jellyfin, it looks like all the other videos, and it sits right nicely next to our Pinch Flat videos, which I'm using Pinch Flat to download channels as they post. Like this channel, every time they post, I'm downloading that video.
Yeah.
I'm using Utar, which you could use it that way. You could, so you could just use one tool to do both.
Right. You already had Pinch Flat.
I already had Pinch Flat. I'm using Utar for the one-off downloads.
I love that.
And then I have to go to a specific spot on the file system, so I know those are all Utar downloads.
Yep. Gets classified the right way.
And it also, I've discovered now, it handles really well at recovering failed downloads. I had a download bail on me, and that's worked nice. The web UI works good on the wife's phone. It works good on her laptop. So this is a winner app. I can tell already it's going to be in a category of winners. Now, there are a couple of things I'd love to see. It'd be nice if you could have it download channels on the regular, like I use Pinch Flat. So every time a channel posts a video, every time Jupiter Broadcasting has a video, it automatically downloads. It'd be nice if those could go to one place and my manual one-off downloads could go to a totally different location. Optional, but it'd be nice. Currently, it's all going to one spot.
You only have one place to target it.
Yeah, and if you download a channel, it creates a subdirectory for that channel. But if you download a one-off, it doesn't create a subdirectory for just that video. They're just in the root, and it's just not how I do my Jellyfin. I'd like to have a cleaner Jellyfin, but I do love it for those one-off downloads, and that's sort of a small gripe. And since I'm using Pinch Flat to manage the channels, it's not really an issue for me. But setting subfolders for manual downloads would be great. I did see issue 287 on the project. Actually, somebody already flagged that.
Nice.
I was like, I'll just go to give this a +1. Give it the old +1. But man, a couple of winners. And then before I'm done with my holiday leftovers for you boys, I got to give a huge mention to, I think, one of the MVPs of this year. We covered it multiple times on the podcast, but we call it the Big D, Direwitch. It is a self-hostable alternative to Google Timeline for your location history, and it's very comprehensive. They have a standalone app for iOS. You can integrate it with things like Own Tracks. If you have Home Assistant, there's an integration where Home Assistant can collect your location and then send it to Direwitch. And it's been our constant companion. I'm running it still since we talked about it the first time on the show. It was the back end to our Texas tracker. It powered our Texas tracker. And there have been many releases since we deployed. I was shocked. So we deployed version 2.8, and they're on like version 3.6 now.
Wow. Oh, that's exciting.
0.36. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's massive, massive improvements since we first talked about it on the show. I mean, lots of refactoring little components. So like some of the subsystems that process subtasks run a lot more efficient. Cleaning up of the UI in general, just a little bit of, fixing a bug here,
polish,
performance issue there. Right, exactly. A lot of that. So that all aside, there's a few things that really stood out to me. In the .29 release that came out a little bit after we deployed, they greatly improved the data export. So you can move data between instances. So if you want to export from one Direwitch instance and set up a new one, you can just move your data and all your history comes.
That's great. That seems perfect for us.
Yep, really nice. We will definitely be using that. And then in the next version, well, a couple of versions later, actually version 3.0.31, they call this the search release. They introduced a new search feature that allows you to search for all the places you've traveled.
Oh, that's killer.
That is obviously needed. Here's a big one for me. A little bit later, version 0.34, released on October 10th, 2025. This is the family release. This release, we are introducing family features that allow users to create family groups, invite members, and share location data. Family owners can manage members, control sharing settings, and ensure secure access to shared information. Location sharing is optional and can be enabled or disabled by each member individually. Users can only join one family at a time. Location sharing settings can be set to share location for 1, 6, 12, or 24 hours, or permanently. And they're available for self-hosted instances. It will be available when they have a cloud version in the future. The family members layer is enabled on the maps too, so you can see where your member markers are and turn them on and off on that layer.
Right, because before it had users, but they were all kind of separate, right? It was more of just like a multiplexed kind of use the service.
We are each at our own map, basically.
And we combined it on our own by just pulling from the API. Oh, wow, that's nice.
It is. And it also, for those of you that maybe switched to Graphene OS from iOS, maybe you've been looking for a good Find My replacement, this could be it. I use Home Assistant for that, but this could be even better. You got a nice web UI now. That's massive. So that was on the 10th of October. And they've had some steady releases since then. They just had a release a couple of days ago. And so I did the right thing and updated my private instance this morning before the show.
Probably just skipping right from wherever you were at to the latest release.
I went from, thankfully, I was just one release after a breaking change. So if I was one release older, I would have had to do some Docker Compose refactoring, and I would have to switch from one database to Redis. I don't know what the previous database was, but there was a database software migration to a totally different software. Like I would have had to do all of that, but I just missed that, and I went and I skimmed it. I have the change log linked in the show notes if you're in a similar position, listener. I went through it and I skimmed it. I'm like, holy crap, this is so good. Oh, I got to do it.
I can't not have this. So, and you couldn't even, because you hadn't updated yet, you couldn't even do the export beforehand.
Nope, I just YOLO'd in. But it worked. It was a big download. It was almost 600 megabytes of layers. I guess that's not horrible, but on LTE it was painful. And rebooted the sucker, came right back up, still talking to Home Assistant, still getting my location. It's fabulous. Love having this. Because I've been driving around a bit for kids' sports events and stuff like that, and so just going to different places. And so now pulling that up on the map, like, oh yeah, I went over there last week. I forgot about that. I never go over there. So that's been fun.
Yeah, the pros of the old Google location tracking, but without all the creepy downsides.
Yeah, it is. And when you set up a new family member, it gives you a QR. If they're on iOS, they make it really easy because they have a dedicated location tracking app for iOS, and so you can. Here, your family member, scan this QR code. It sets up the iOS Darwich tracking app, and it looks really straightforward. And even if you're on Android, there's a dozen easy ways, including just using Home Assistant. Just do that. Just use Home Assistant. Just do that. You only have one thing tracking your location. Massive, massive recommendation. So that's a little bit of my holiday leftovers. I mean, I could go on for the whole episode. We've really found some bangers this year. But maybe, I don't know. Maybe you got something for you got a holiday leftover for us, Wes Payne, for the class to share. Something to chat about.
Yeah. I have something I want to work through.
Oh,
a question.
Okay.
Or like maybe how to view something happening in the kernel, because I'm not entirely sure how I feel.
Oh boy.
And I don't know if this is a year of vindication or a year of Chris was right.
Oh, I like it already.
Yeah, I thought you might. So it turns out it's been a bit of a busy year for our friend KSMBT.
Oh, the Samba server that got built into the Linux kernel by Samsung.
Yeah, that's right. One of your favorite parts of the Linux kernel.
Yep. We can't have Bcache but we've got a Samba server built into our kernel. What could go wrong?
Yeah, how many commits do you think that thing sees in a year?
Oh, that's a great question, Wes. I don't even think I've ever considered.
I mean, the year's isn't over, so I've been looking at 2025. But
in a whole year.
Yeah,
in a whole year. Oh, I mean, you should think it'd be mostly done. So I'm going to say less than 1,000.
Oh yeah. It was more than I thought at 194.
Oh, I was going to say 100, but then I thought you were going to get me with they've had a whole bunch of security issues, so they've had to do a whole bunch of commits or something.
I was going to guess 10 because I figured they weren't doing
nothing.
It is kind of that.
Oh, okay.
Because 41 of those match on a grep for something like fix, leak, crash, overflow, use after free, recursive locking and RPC handle. Let's see here. Fix possible ref count leak, fix possible memory leak, fix race condition. There's just a whole bunch of those. It's not all bad though, right? So just a bit of history. SMBD came out in 2021.
Right. We were doing Linux Action News at the time.
And then somewhere like late 2022, maybe it was early 2023, I think it was kernel 6.6, it got marked as no longer experimental, marked quote unquote stable.
Okay.
So another part of this story, I think, is what does it mean to be in the kernel in terms of like the contract for the user and what to expect out of something between even after post experimental status, right? There's one kind of version where you want to have access to stuff so that you get to make the call around, do I want to use that software? Right? And ButterFS is another one of these things, right? We've seen enterprise distros not ship it. Red Hat particular. Red Hat does not ship KSMPD. They specifically said they were going to take a conservative approach and not enable it.
Okay.
But maybe we feel differently about those two choices, which, I mean, makes sense.
Huh. So this, to me, too, this is a great question because I think in the broader context, there's been a lot of controversy around Rust and a lot of drama and social brigading. And there has, of course, been the Bcachefs situation. And there is this situation. These are all oddities to me. And they all seem, I think the core thing that you're getting to is they all seem to maybe have a different standard being applied to them. And that's really hitting me at this moment is like they really tolerated a lot of shenanigans from Rust, and including Linus yelling at some longtime committers to STFU. And that this Samba server is in this kernel so that way a few 100,000 million Samsung devices can have faster file transfer.
So that's where it's interesting. So it does continue to see development, as we've seen. Just coming in 6.18, which maybe is out today, there's improved session, sharing, connection, lookup performance. They're also adding a new max IP connections parameter to better control like rate limiting, essentially, improved socket creation, a bunch of nice improvements. At the beginning of the year, I guess some users were playing around enabling this thing on TrueNAS now that that's, Linux under the hood. They were seeing some pretty impressive improvements specifically for on the right side, also for latency, in terms of just like if you're doing like a lot of small operations on files or a lot of metadata, file creation, that kind of thing. And I guess it was adopted by OpenWRT. So there are some sort of embedded use cases. Another aspect KSMBD has is SMB Direct, which is essentially RDMA. And so you can set it up between Linux and like two Linux boxes, say on a trusted network with KSMBD enabled. You don't have to bother the CPU to offload from memory over the network at super fast line rate. So there are some places where maybe it makes sense.
I guess so. I guess what it says to me is that it sounds like we have a major bottleneck issue on Linux for things that have to run in user space. And if there's such a performance difference between running in kernel versus running in user space talking to the kernel, perhaps we should address whatever that issue is. But then the other thing that strikes me is it's kind of not apples and oranges comparison, because if you first looked at WireGuard when it first shipped and you compared WireGuard to the Go user space versions of WireGuard, WireGuard in the kernel was way faster and way more performant. But then over the years, operations like Tailscale and others worked at optimizing the user space binaries. And now the performance is very comparable and in some use cases better in the user space version. But they're comparing it against a version where they haven't really optimized for that situation to a hyper optimized version in the kernel that's like a slimmed down version of Samba that doesn't feature everything.
It is, you're right. It definitely doesn't feature everything. Like it doesn't do a lot of the Active Directory stuff, right? So it's not really suitable for that kind of role. Interestingly, I think they were already working on it, but when KSMBD came out, Samba actually went ahead and implemented a bunch of, like the regular Samba distribution, implemented a bunch of work to take on IOU ring. There are cases where, like in some of that early testing.
See, now that makes sense to me, though.
Yeah, they were getting like 10x throughput.
Because that's a generic facility provided by the kernel for these types of things. That seems like the better route to go than just shoehorning in a Samba server because Samsung wants it. Right? I mean, again.
There are some limitations in terms of just, overhead, as well as like you're probably not, there are just some shorter paths available and less context switching if you do.
For sure, yeah. So why not put Firefox in the kernel? Really? Why don't we put NFS in the kernel? Should we put FTP in the kernel?
Yes, probably, yeah.
Like, I mean, where do we draw the line? Because yes, obviously putting things in the kernel makes them a little bit faster, especially when it comes to using subsystems like disk and network. But you could say that about everything. Like, Why not put Hyperland in the kernel? Let's put Wayland in the kernel. Let's put effing everything in the kernel. I mean, hell, let's do it. Let's see what happens, because I don't see the logic.
Okay, so you're already on this side, but this year also saw, and so this is where I think I do have some questions. So there's one narrative here that says all of the reasons that we thought this architecture was a bad idea in 2021 are kind of playing out here.
Who could have seen this coming?
Yeah. But I mentioned there was like 194 commits. 91 of those are from Steven Metzmacher, who's a longtime Samba dev who was working in the kernel before this, but including doing some of the work to get the IOU ring support. But it seems like the Samba world has sort of accepted that this is there. And I'm wondering if we're seeing this flurry of activity, does that also maybe mean that there's enough folks that are finding it valuable that it makes sense to invest in making this more secure and robust? It's like at the beginning of the year, the security firm Doyensec announced that they were going to start looking into KSMBD. And then just now, like in October, they've been doing some more write-ups, and they actually produced a really nice, we'll have a GitHub linked for one of the CVEs this year, like a really nice reproducer with all the code open, even a little script to run a QEMU VM for you to like start running it.
Wow.
Yeah. So that sort of says, okay, one version is just we want to show how bad this is and it's a terrible idea. Another version is folks are using this, we should make it robust. And maybe now we're in a place where it can be more robust and sufficiently tested to not be a horrible hole.
I think there's a detail in there. And that detail is they've built it and it is faster. So of course we're going to use it, right? That's the thing. If you do this, it's going to end up having users. And then we're going to have to keep it. That's why you don't build it and put it in the kernel in the first place, because it is faster. It is better for things like small ARM devices, routers, things like that, obviously. And of course, vendors want to be able to sell you a plastic box that does Wi-Fi and has a USB port on it so you can have a NAS.
Yep.
And so for that, we all have to walk around with a kernel that has Samba, unless your distro provider takes it out. Now, I think if they hadn't built it, we wouldn't be, this, of course, like, why not put, again, I go back to this, but if we put cups in the kernel, it would be faster. And what would happen over time, it would take a few years, is more people would start using it. And then the question becomes, well, what happens to traditional cups? Samba is a project that has a 20-plus year massive legacy. And I think they're probably safe because of the complicated nature of a lot of Samba setups and the features that they need. But if you put something else in the kernel like this, it would probably cannibalize the main project.
So just for a little more flavor as well, you may remember, but earlier this year, there was a Linux kernel 0-day discovered using ChatGPT.
Oh, yeah, right.
That was for KSMBD.
Oh, my, really? Of course, of course.
There was a couple of remote takeover bugs where you did have to have valid user credentials, but like when you were signing off, you could trigger a race condition that let you run arbitrary code in the kernel. There was a very easy denial of service bug, so it's a little less, it's not taking over your box, but it is taking you off the network, called KSMBD drain, or KSMB drain, say that 5 times, which was a trivial, unauthenticated attack. You basically just did the start of a TCP conversation, and then just disappeared, and that the kernel would never free the resources that it set up, assuming you were trying to talk to its KSMBD Samba server.
That's a good one.
So then, and of course, because it's in the kernel, you don't have the normal sort of like out of memory or special handling, right? That's kernel memory that it gets to eat up there.
Yeah, your user space out of memory killer's not doing anything about that.
And then probably the worst was this one that Doyensec found this really great reproducer for, which we 37947, which got a 10 on the CVSS score because it allowed a regular authenticated user with simple file write access to reliably and deterministically, without needing to win a race condition, bypass all the modern kernel stuff, KSLR, all that, and become root. So it is also, I think, as folks in our Matrix stream are suggesting, I think you're right. If you put this in there, people are going to use it, and if you're going to use it, there's going to be problems. So probably this is really screaming out for rustification, if anything in the kernel is, right?
Yeah, maybe. All I have to say about it,
Chris was right. Who could have seen it coming? Next time, just ask Chris first.
Well, thank you. That was quite cathartic. I appreciate that, Wes. That was a nice holiday gift you gave me.
You know, I picked that topic actually hoping that the story was going to go the other way.
Really?
And I would get to have a look at how great KSMPD's doing. But,
Oh, that's so good. Well, Brentley, one of the things that we've talked on and off over the years, now it's been years now if you guys can believe it, is our adventures with Graphene OS. We're still rocking Pixel 7s all around with the Graphene OS on there, which just recently got a new update with some new visuals.
Things are bolder, it seems.
Yeah, I like it. At first, I didn't like it because my lock screen UI changed.
Sure.
I don't like it.
My clock changed.
It feels snappier to me.
Yeah.
Consistently snappier.
And there's a couple of nights I forgot to put it on the charger, and I got it, and it was like 10% less.
That's nice, too.
And that's with, radios on and stuff. So I'm feeling really good about it, but Graphene OS has had some challenges recently, and I think that's Brent's holiday leftovers for us.
Oh yeah, not the nice news maybe you want to hear, but this week Graphene OS basically withdrew from France, like the entire country. They were hosting some things over at OVH, but French law enforcements basically continue to target encrypted communications in the country, and the first time the authorities have directly threatened an open source project. So this is kind of big news for, I think, open source in general, if it has to do with encryption protocols, which previously they have basically targeted businesses who are doing encrypted communications and targeting criminals specifically. But this is just an open source project generally. So the French authorities have sent an internal message to police forces labeling all Google Pixel phones with Graphene OS as inherently suspicious.
Oh, what?
Not what you want to see.
Gotta take my iPhone to France now.
Wait a minute, you have an iPhone?
No. I was gonna borrow yours.
I'm sure I got a couple.
Yeah.
So this week, French media outlet Le Parisien published articles characterizing Graphene OS as a tool enabling criminal activity, and that kind of kicked off all of this suspicion and sort of looking into the project a little closer. So French cybercrime prosecutor Johanna Bros stated that authorities would basically pursue legal action against platforms with criminal organization ties if they refuse cooperation.
That's a threat.
That was the quote. Yeah. And what stands out here for me is that refuse cooperation. I think they're trying to get information on criminal organizations that are using some of these platforms. And considering, Graphene OS has a pretty strong stand on not doing that.
Right.
There's suspicion that this is basically an ask for a backdoor, which makes you wonder which other encrypted services that are way more popular than Graphene OS actually said yes. Because if they're going after a little project like this, then I don't know, you got to start to question things.
I got bits and pieces from the project. It sounded like the government might have worked in coordination with some friendly media over there to write some bad headlines about thieves using Graphene OS kind of at just the right time. Or criminals. I don't know about thieves, but criminals. Kind of coordinated there. And so they commented a little bit on that and how just really disappointed they were in the media coverage. But just take a moment to appreciate they had to migrate all of their infrastructure on OVH quickly.
Yeah, that sucks. That's no one's idea.
It's serious if you're,
and it takes away from more work just on the actual project task.
That's just the thing, right? Is it's serious if they had to hit pause on the project work to do this migration.
It looks like most of their communications, so Mastodon, Discourse, and Matrix servers are moved to Toronto, so over here in Canada. So good to know that
but not
my
French
old dear country
Canada,
is a little trusted.
Yeah, not the French part of Canada.
It's near French Canada. Close, but not too close.
So maybe not a bad time to consider like a little extra donation to Graphene if
That
you're
is
partial.
A great point. They also moved a couple other things. Website infrastructure is now in Germany. DNS services, it looks like they've migrated to Vultr and by VM. And it looks here like cryptographic credentials. They're rotating it based on just a security precaution.
Oh, okay.
So some interesting maybe changes in how they run some of the infrastructure as well to avoid this kind of thing in the future. They did confirm that there were no like credentials from user data or critical security infrastructure that was stored in France. So most of the core security features were basically unaffected. Thank goodness, really.
Yeah, it sounds like an abundance of caution on some of this stuff, but I mean, that's sort of
Which
the
is
game.
what you'd expect from the project, yeah. And we're grateful for it.
Yeah, very much so. It is interesting to see them have to kind of implement an action plan here to see what they have to do in the face of some pressure. And I think we'd probably all three agree it seems like they're making the right moves, hard moves, but the right moves here.
Yeah, this got me thinking of a couple of topics. One is, if you remember Telegram founder Pavel Durov, he was arrested in France as well. Was that a couple of years ago, 2024? So that was maybe, it was maybe a hint of what was going to come. And I'm not up on that situation, but I remember that feeling like a red flag. And okay, that's Telegram, but now we've got a huge red flag for open source projects as well. It also seems like chat control in Europe is moving forward in a way that is following these kind of themes. So I know we're talking about France currently, but there are a bunch of other countries who are trying to push these kind of eyes into encrypted communications a little bit more. So it makes me a little somber thinking about some of these freedoms, especially in a place that is known for having a little bit more encouragement towards freedoms and freedom of choice and all that, to be pushing in this direction. Doesn't make you boys sad because, it feels like graphene has had many different types of challenges in the last few months. We see this for sure. And also, the changes to the Android open source releases for them. So they got both technical challenges and some, governmental social challenges here too.
Indeed. I think it might be open source that has the line of defense on these backdoor legislations. I don't see how you effectively mandate it into free software that's made all around the world. And developers that get coerced, I mean, this isn't legal advice, but you have to wonder if some of them wouldn't consider a public resignation and then get a VPN that just puts them in a different country and join the product under a new synonym or a new fake identity and, call themselves America Joe or something and, Bob the Builder.
I think that's taken already.
Yeah. But there's really no way they can stop free software from being developed. And a lot of the people that build these tools, especially these privacy tools in free software and open source, are doing it from a path of advocacy and a source of passion. And they're not as likely to be, swayed by this stuff. They'll just stop. And then over time, because they're compelled, they'll find a new way to contribute.
And we have the power of cloning and forking and often, luckily, sizable and diverse communities all over the world and from different communities with different local laws or, rules on the ground and expectations and cultures, which can be a benefit in times like
I
these.
think there will be challenges for some developers. I mean, there's going to be some developers that really feel the pressure and the heat if this stuff proceeds. And I think that is going to be a challenging time for open source. But I think ultimately, free software and open source are able to respond to this threat in a way that commercial software simply is unable to. Their legal structure as a business is going to force them to comply.
Yeah, it's a very different thing if they come knocking on your door and you have a legal entity that makes it very easy for them to demand compliance.
And Graphene OS is trying to hold that line right here. We see it happening in real time. And really grateful for the hard work they're putting in to make that happen. And I've made this point before on the show, but the people that know about these tools and know about free software versus people that just grab, whatever commercial app their friends link them, there's going to be a big delta between the people that have privacy and the people that don't.
Yeah, two different worlds.
But I was kind of happy to see that the speculation consensus is coming to a perhaps hardware vendor for Graphene OS's new project. So they're looking for devices beyond pixels. They have reportedly been working with a hardware vendor, a quote-unquote major hardware vendor, that would be updating their hardware to meet the security requirements of the Graphene OS project, including like the secure enclave type stuff. And there's been a lot of speculation. OnePlus was thrown out there, but all of them have kind of been knocked down by various members of the project, except for my original dream. And I thought this was impossible. But the community consensus, if there was a poly market for this, Motorola would be in the win right now.
Oh,
Motorola.
Wow.
that would be great.
I would love a Motorola phone again. I used to love my Motorola devices. And it's because of all the requirements. It kind of everything from timeline to price to the fact that they also said the vendor makes a tablet that's already in the market. Just all of these different kind of things that line up with pointing at Motorola. And the takeaway being that potentially there could be a Graphene OS device, a dedicated hardware-made Motorola device that you buy that comes with Graphene OS on it, or you flash with Graphene OS on it, whatever it might be. Oh, boy. I would love to see that. Motorola makes some great phones.
Are you saying Chris was right? I feel like you're kind of rubbing that in our face.
No, because this is just speculation. We don't know. There's no device announced
so the
yet.
jingle must wait.
I'd be curious. So we know it's not OnePlus. We've eliminated the Fairphone. I thought there was a third phone we eliminated from the lineup too recently in the members feed, but I can't remember what it was.
I think it was Samsung devices.
Yeah, we ruled those out. I mean, it could be, and I'd be curious if listeners, you have a wish cast of who the hardware vendor would be that you can either buy or easily flash Graphene OS on. If you could get an OEM phone, something you could buy yourself or recommend to friends and family too. Because, oh boy, wouldn't that be a game changer? If
That would be.
you could just tell,
Easy answer.
Yes. So who would be your hardware vendor of choice? I
feel like Jeff says Sony. Sony, he's been saying that for years, right, Jeff?
maybe boost in and tell us who you'd like to see as the hardware vendor for Graphene OS. I'm saying Motorola. 1password.com, boys. You ready?
Ooh,
Get ready.
All right, back in the studio for a fair race.
Okay, I'm going to get it loaded.
Only got one hand.
Okay, so I haven't hit yet. Unplugged.
How do you spell it again?
Unplugged. You spell-
3 G's.
Yeah, with all the G's. Okay, are you ready?
I'm more of a 4G guy.
You ready?
Okay.
Here we go. In 3, 2, 1, go. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, invalid SSL certificate.
Oh.
It sure did load fast.
I wonder if they've canceled the contract and I just don't know it. I don't know it.
Uh-oh.
But it did load fast. You're right.
Oh.
You're right about that. Well, I'll have to contact them and hopefully I haven't been fired. Could be, who knows with this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
Christmas.
as far as I know, they haven't fired me yet. If you are interested in crowd health, check out joincrowdhealth.com. Use the promo code UNPLUGGED and you'll get it for $99 for 3 months. Oh, 1password. Maybe try it later. Maybe it'll be working later. I'm going to have to shake that off.
It could be doing maintenance.
That's a little startling.
Yeah, it's weirdly, the base domain seems fine.
I know. That's why it's startling, Wes. That's why it's startling.
Uh-huh.
Did you put too many G's?
No, I do all the G's. I do all the G's. I always do.
I'm going to blame WordPress. I don't know that they use it or that it's involved in any way, but
I'm gonna
it seems right.
I'm gonna blame Aspired SSL. I'll say Aspired SSL.
Yeah.
Okay. My nose is running. Brentley, do you want to set me up, or set us up? I guess, like continuing on the theme of it's been a bumpy year for the kernel, and then
Sure.
we got some clips, boys. We got some clips. We're gonna get into. Boop, 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 boop.
Ooh, we'll have to have like a harp sound.
You're right.
Well, we don't have to.
No, you're right. I should get that.
Yes, we do.
You're right. I should get that queued up. You're right. Let me get that queued up. That's a good call, Wes. I like the way you're thinking.
You did want to play with the soundboard.
Well, I was just thinking to myself, we're going into the past, and
This
you have to use a harp for
this
that.
instinct is initially why I let you hire the soundboard intern.
Fair.
That
didn't work out well.
No, it did not. Okay. Ready when you are, Brentley.
I think I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. In a 3, in a 2.
Well, I'd like to continue on the theme of sort of a bumpy year for the kernel, because I feel like there's a lot more than what you've been talking about so far in this episode. What do you got here, Chris?
I guess it kind of has been a bit of a grab bag year, right? Because we've gotten a lot of nice releases, a couple of bangers, and there's some in the works right now. But I was reviewing the members version of the show to look for stories that we should probably catch the main show up on. Because a lot of times we'll cover a story to see, before we really know if it's fully developed, we'll start tracking it in the bootleg version of the show for the members. And then when it kind of develops, we'll bring it into the show. But we just really haven't had a time to catch up on this stuff. So I want to go back in time a piece to episode 590, gentlemen. And this is where we started seeing potentially some issues with bcachefs in the kernel. And this is actually the first flare-up. Before where we're at now, there was a code of conduct situation because the S word was used. All right, well, while we got Spicy Wes, it looks like that Kent Overstreet, the lead developer of bcachefs, is facing repercussions for violating the Linux kernel's code of conduct, as determined by the Code of Conduct Committee. And committees reviewed some communications that involve Kent and another individual. And as a result, their determination is that they're rejecting his pull requests for bcachefs for the Linux 6.13 development cycle.
I think really, right, it's any. He can't be part of 6.13, basically.
Yeah. The decision does not remove bcachefs from the mainline kernel or preclude future submissions, but leaves the acceptance of his work for 6.14 and beyond uncertain for now. Overstreet acknowledged the issue and issued a partial apology for the incident. I don't know about partial. So I think it's a dispute of the apology was done in private and the COC wants the apology done in public.
Well, and I think there's also it seems like he is intentionally not doing so because he'd like to make it into a larger conversation.
Mm-hmm. And that ultimately was resolved and his patches were resumed being accepted to the Linux kernel. And then while we were, I think, in Austin, I think we were in Texas, so we might sound a little different.
Yeah, most of the time, major stuff goes down.
Yeah, we were on the road.
Yeah,
actually, it's true. Yeah, I was looking at the clips. So so this is to kind of set the context. This is the pre-show before we're going to actually record the main show from Austin, and we're kind of just finding the news out as we're setting up.
Okay, Wes. This is the story I think that I've been the most disappointed to see while we've been on the road. And I know you've been following what's going on with bcachefs. Last time we talked about bcachefs, there was a back and forth between Linus and Kent because Kent was trying to add what you could consider to be a new feature during what should only be a bug fix merge window. There was a back and forth and an argument between Linus and Kent that just kind of ended and really went nowhere after that. And then we have a new story where it seemed positive at first because it seemed Linus was pulling in all of the patches, including that new disaster recovery tool, the Journal Rewind, into the 6.16 branch, but and it sounds like maybe we have bad news, as maybe as bad as it gets, actually, that Linus might not include bcachefs at all in Linux 6.17. So what are we missing? What's going on here?
Nothing's final yet. We really don't know. In some sense, there's like not much of a story beyond watching the 6.16 develop. There's been some even subsequent polls after this story came out. But as a follow-up to the discussion around the Journal Rewind, well, there's some debate right there if you even want to call it a feature or not, but around the Journal Rewind feature. And then I guess there's been going on some private maintainer mailing list threads that we don't get to see, where Linus and Kent have been having more discussions. And I think there's there's a lot going on as usual. I think from Kent's perspective, part of it is like he sees a slightly different definition of what counts as a feature or not for file systems in particular in this case, because it wasn't like adding some new thing the file system can do. So it wasn't a feature in that sense. It was more of a feature in terms of like the strict code sense, but this was entirely targeted around some like recovery stuff to try and get users' data back as quickly as possible by putting it into the RC instead of waiting another 3 months to get it in the next kernel.
So it's sort of
Kent feels
the letter
also
of the
like
law
he
versus
should have
the spirit of the law. Like Kent was trying to go by the spirit of the law. Hey, this thing's an experimental file system. It's not a new feature of the file system, but it's exposing that feature and it's for users that are in trouble right now. And Linus is saying, yes, but it's net new code. You're not just fixing existing code. This is net new code, and that's not allowed. So it's law versus spirit in a sense.
Yes. And, Kent was making the points, which I think are true, and some other maintainers have agreed on that, it's not like that kind of concession or, bend of the rules doesn't happen. I think maybe a big part of the problem here, right, is that I'm not sure Kent appreciated the extent that he was kind of still under review and being tested in a sense to like how well can you play by the rules. And I don't think maybe he appreciates the extent that like there has not been enough trust gained between the parties to be able to bend that rules, right? That happens like after the trust happens, and there just hasn't been enough of that, I think. And they're both kind of pretty frustrated. Like, Kent is working really hard and trying to support users, and frustrated that, like, he's spending a ton of time not on feature development, but on like bug fixes and talking with people online and in Reddit threads and, in IRC and all over the place, trying to provide support and, finish all of the edge cases. And so it's naturally frustrating when you feel opposed for that. And of course, Linus wants to not have bcachefs be a constant thorn in his side and distract him from maintaining the rest of the kernel. And you can kind of argue, like, are there elements maybe of things we've observed around maybe the larger maintainers not especially having a super strong focus on file systems? I think you could maybe make some arguments around there. And there's a debate maybe, which we've also had in the past, around, was this upstreamed too soon? Also, what's the definition of experimental? So all of those things are being drug up in this, and it's not really clear exactly where things are land, but it does sound like KMS, maybe some limited per distro kernel builds are possibilities in the future if it takes a stint out of the main line.
Yeah. I mean, I really, really hate to hear that it might go out of the main line. And I do want to underscore a point you quickly touched on. But I'll wait. Brent, what is your first reaction?
Well, I'm trying to think of if this situation has ever happened before, like a project being included in the kernel and then within a year being removed again. I don't think that has occurred in the past. Can you guys think of anything? I tried to research it and I can't think of a single thing that has been added to the kernel with, like, oh, we think this is ready enough to be added to the kernel, and then kind of backtracked from there. So this would be a unique situation.
Yeah, you definitely see things deprecated maybe as they're no longer developed or supported.
It's like it's been in the kernel for 20 years or 10 years and we'll take it out because no one's using it.
Yeah. Yeah, and you see it more often with drivers too. When a driver's broken, you'll see that, and they won't include it in the next cycle for a bit while that driver's getting fixed. Yeah, no, nothing comes to my mind. No, nothing like a software thing like this, like a WireGuard or and so here's the thing that Wes touched on that I want to focus on for a second, because it is, I think everybody knows my main issue with all of this is the kernel developers are great people, but they live in their own world with their own uses, and they don't appreciate how pathetically behind and non-competitive Linux is with its default file systems. If you go by the world of Extended 4, which is the predominant file system that ships with most Linux distributions, including the big Red Hat distribution, it's a joke. Compared to NTFS or APFS, it's pathetic. And Apple, in particular, has managed to lap us. We've been talking about this for so long that they have now lapped us with this. And they have better file systems on their internet phone than we do on our supercomputers. And it's pathetic. And it makes Linux look old. And it's an entire, ginormous, incredibly large sector of the tech industry is simply solving storage using all kinds of hacked-together solutions because Linux doesn't solve this inherently at the platform level. And so we have to throw tens and tens of thousands of dollars at stupid boxes that run hacked-together Linux kernels with patched-up file systems to provide support that Linux should be able to offer out of the box. It's embarrassing, and it's gone on way too long. And if this was a product made by a company, whoever's in charge of that company should have been fired over this, because what pays the bills for Linux is the server software. It's not you using it on your laptop. It's not your Steam Deck. It's people running it in the servers. And this is an absolutely critical and necessary feature for a server platform. And the kernel developers do not get it. And ZFS ain't it, Chief, because it is not GPL. I don't care how great it is. I don't care how mature it is. I don't care how wide the support is. It cannot be baked into the kernel. You have to have something that can be baked into the kernel, or else the platform technically does not have the feature. And bcachefs is it. Because we've all trashed the ButterFS brand, so it ain't going to be ButterFS. bcachefs is it.
I think that's something that's, important to add here. There's just that there is that backdrop, and it doesn't always get commented on, but I think Kent feels it, right? Like, Kent has a sense of urgency. Some of that may be his own self-pressure or pressure from users, like the kernel community is not obligated by that. But you can appreciate how Kent wants to push really hard on not losing data and helping users get data because we're living in a world where Btrfs just didn't get trusted. And so I can see how Kent maybe feels a bit of a catch-22 in terms of like trying to go whole hog on maintaining the reputation of his file system, but then, having the Linux community maybe push back and be like, yeah, well, these people should be building their own kernels.
All right, back to present time. Of course, some time has passed, and the sting of it being removed from the kernel has lessened, I think, as we see sort of a workable solution get developed.
Yeah, I mean, development continues. The DKMS path so far is marching ahead. We'll see. I mean, it's still somewhat early days, right? Like, if 6.18 comes out today, then it'll be the first kernel that like really doesn't have Bcache at all. And folks move slow on kernels and file systems. So I think we'll see a bit before we see everything all switched over to DKMS, but it's coming.
So this is sort of a make good because this entire thread has been a long, ongoing story. So we just wanted to get you updated on it. Brent, do you have any thoughts before we sort of do the final piece of the story?
I think it's more of a question. Okay. And my question, just, reliving that moment back then, is considering it's been pulled from the kernel, what are the chances it might be back? We back then, I think, was thinking this is maybe a temporary pullout till they figure things out and they'll try again. But I'm not so sure anymore.
It's a good question. I think only a few people could probably answer that. And Linus might be one of them.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't set my timeline to anything shorter than a few years.
Yeah, I don't know.
But true, I have no special insight.
So last bit of this thread from the bootleg version of the show. This was the moment we documented where the actual removal process finally happened. So we go back to episode 635.
We also got an update on the status of Bcachefs in the Linux kernel, and I guess it's a necessary step?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much the consensus. Linus wrote, Bcachefs was marked externally maintained in 6.17, but the code remained to make the transition smoother. It's now a DKMS module, making the in-kernel code stale, so we're removing it to avoid any version confusion. Yeah. And with that, 117,000 lines are removed from the kernel tree. Bcachefs users should now use the DKMS kernel modules.
Wow. We did get some news on the DKMS kernel modules as well, and overall, it's pretty good news.
Yeah, Kent came out with an official announcement. As of Linux 6.17 and Bcachefs tools, which are the userland side, version 1.31.5, Bcachefs is switching to distributing as a DKMS module. That means a normal make and make install of Bcachefs tools will also install the kernel module sources, which on a system with a normally functioning DKMS will then be built and available as like any other kernel module. And of course, generally this will all be handled by our distribution or packaging or, whatever. And he went on to kind of go into, well, one, big thank you, because a lot of folks have seemingly stepped up to help with this new packaging side of the project. So that's great to see.
That is, yeah.
He also touches on he's going to be providing for now a nightly release. Well, he'll have two channels, I should say. One is called nightly and one is called release. The nightly is as you expect, right? But the release channel, it's the latest tagged release. It has code that has been deemed stable.
And Kent has been really good about communicating this too. So not only is there, obviously community discussions about this, but Kent is directly posting on his Patreon blog, sort of just status updates for everybody so they know where things are at.
Mm-hmm. He did mention also that they are looking eventually, post-experimental status being dropped, to have in like a real stable release channel as well that'll lag behind and just get sort of backports. So that's coming. We're not there yet.
For those LTS type folks.
Right now, NixOS and Arch get what's labeled first tier support. They're providing apt packages for Debian and Ubuntu, so you can get those added. And they're also looking at getting Bcachefs tools back into Debian proper. Wow. So TBD on that. Fedora has long had a well-supported Bcachefs tools package, and Kent shouts out a friend of our show, Neil Gampa, on that, so that's great.
Hey, Neil.
The one caveat, though, now is since Bcachefs isn't in the kernel, Bcachefs tools, the package itself can no longer be supplied as part of the main Fedora distribution. due to a policy in Fedora about out-of-country kernel modules, I guess. So instead, there's now a copper available for that. That sounds like otherwise it's sort of a well-tested package.
And if you're on Nix or Arch, you're pretty much going to get first-tier support.
Yep,
that's what to expect. Okay, well, I mean, works for us.
Yeah, I think they're not sure yet on the status in OpenSUSE. That's ongoing.
Okay.
So and he has some more notes about Slackware and a few other distros in the post. If you're curious for more deets there.
So DKMS lifestyle it is for us.
That's right.
Okay, well, I thought let's do one more clip from the bootleg that sort of puts a cap on this, and that is Linus himself. He was at an event, and he was doing a Q&A with Dirk, and they don't directly say the name, but some of these issues come up. Like, also this year, we've had a lot of Rust maintainers quit. In fact, I believe now we're just down to one Rust for Linux project leader as the sole maintainer for the code, while there's a couple of Rust reviewers. So the Rust folks have had a rough year. There's been this issue with bcachefs. And so Linus takes a moment to reflect on it. And this was just a couple of weeks ago.
This year was a bit tumultuous. We had a lot of disagreements to the point where parts of the kernel was made external just to avoid a lot of friction. To be fair, that was not the first time it happened.
But it's been a while.
We've had pieces of the kernel that were not being used or had serious enough issues that we had to excise from the kernel. It's rare. In 35 years, it's happened only a handful of times. So it's not an enjoyable experience. But at the same time, I feel that we've been able to deal with it fairly well. Any big project were literally thousands of people. We have every single release, we have over 1,000 people involved, and that's every 2 months, right? You will have personal disagreements, you will have professional disagreements, you will have friction, and that's all part of life. And I think we're mostly one big happy family. Right?
I think I would more describe it as a very mature group of people who have figured out how to work with each other. But yeah, I'll go with a happy family. Normally,
so that's, I think, his way of saying, it wasn't necessarily easy on him either, the whole process. This story isn't over yet, but that is our coverage so far as it was in the bootleg that hadn't made it in the main show. Do you have any follow-up thoughts or any?
Oh, I do want to underscore, it does seem like we were looking just now, and the last update to the bcachefs tools repo was like 14 minutes ago, and I have continued to see Kent out there engaging with the community, providing support. I think things have just been a little quiet because we're in a stabilization period.
Kent is known for listening to the show on occasion, so if you have any production systems out there or home lab systems or whatever you want to call it that are running bcachefs in the enterprise or on your own lab, let us know. Send us a contact or send us a boost, and that might be useful in a future episode, so send those in. Now, I was just looking at the chat room there. And our buddy, Hybrid Sarcasm, big supporter of the show, awesome member of our community, he says in here, Chris rants are the only reason one needs to become a member. And so it is the Black Friday, Cyber Monday season, and we do have a promo code BOOTLEG, which takes, I think, 15% off a membership if you would like to sign up. And I will, just for you, Hybrid, I will play a rant that actually ends with a little bit of an update from this week. So this is from LUP 625's pre-show. It all comes down to the damn enterprise distros. It's all because of the damn enterprise distros. Because these things lock us into these 10-year windows of time where something that crops up can be an issue in this world, right? These problems are only problems for small windows of time if you regularly update your system. And God forbid, maybe you even have an immutable box with the applications and the data separately, and you just continuously update the immutable base, and you update the applications as the business need require or compliance requires. God forbid you go that route, because if you did, then these problems are like a problem for 15 minutes. And then you just deploy the patch. And all of these conversations should be keeping that in perspective. Is these problems are problems for small periods of time and then are fixed.
and something that doesn't do something can do something later because we can add functionality and features to the software and update it. But if you're running some crazy esoteric business fork of Linux and your world doesn't update, that doesn't mean the rest of us are living that. And I think that has to be included in the conversation because it's looked at. I think we all go through this default bias filter of, well, they're enterprise systems in the 10-year update cycles. So, if you have a problem and a vulnerability in this library, then it could be an issue for tens of thousands of systems that don't update. Yeah, well, they're doing it wrong. And we shouldn't, I don't know why we bend over backwards to enable a way to deliver Linux that is not compatible with the way Linux is developed. And not only is it incompatible with the way Linux and features are developed and distributed, but it's not great for security. And it's the issue holding us back is application vendor compatibility. Well, the vendor requires that we run this on SUSE Linux, or it requires we use RHEL. You're the customer. Tell them every year, we want this in a container. We want this in a VM, whatever it takes. And then we can start the process of rolling out updates as required. And it doesn't have to be this big thing. It can just be the way the system works, right? It can just be the way that iOS and Android have solved this problem, and we don't see it become a huge issue. And like when I see what the trickle down culture of that is this sort of, I don't need to update my view. I don't need to reassess my stance because, it's probably valid for a decade. And it breeds this laziness and this anti-intellectual approach to understanding how the software is developed and how it works. And then it creates this culture of bashing these things like IOU Ring or Btrfs or Bcachefs or whatever the next thing is. And it's based on these outdated or misinformed assumptions that really, I think, stem from enterprise Linux.
And I felt like Red Hat must have been listening because this week they introduced Project Hummingbird to accelerate cloud-native development and, quote, zero CVE strategies. So I think what this really is you could think of it as a version of their UBI images, but instead of being based on RHEL, they're based on Fedora. And I think maybe even like the Rawhide version of Fedora. So these are coming in with like super hot patches. They call it the zero CV status, meaning Red Hat Hummingbird images are shipped free of known vulnerabilities with functionality testing already completed, confirming that their images are also genuinely useful and stable. Genuinely useful and stable, Wes.
Yeah, I think that's their way of saying we're testing these well, but the phrasing is a bit odd. They do also seem to focus on like them being very like application specific, right? So like languages and runtimes, so like .NET or containers ready to go for Java or running Node apps, as well as stuff like MariaDB or Postgres, Nginx, Caddy, that kind of thing. So maybe more focused than like some of the general UBI stuff.
Yeah. Right. Love to see it. Don't know what kind of adoption UBI is getting or what kind of adoption Project Hummingbird will get, but they include...
sorry, go on.
I was going to say just things they include a lot of things companies like. So they have minimal releases and they have hardened versions. They have a total bill of materials in there enabling, quote, users to verify contents.
Yeah, that's what I was going to call out was maybe trying to compete with some things like ChainGuard or similar that are offering like, here's a tiny image, it does one thing, and also here's the list of everything in it and exactly where we got it.
Yeah, you can just get it from us. I do like that Fedora gets a proper call out in here, right? So they say, again, I said this part, Project Hummingbird is built on the open source development process originating from Fedora Linux components. And then they go on to say, and they didn't need to say this part, Fedora Linux serves as the upstream source for Red Hat Enterprise Linux development. Every time we just sort of, cement that a little bit more into the RHEL culture, right? Like Fedora is a vital part of RHEL.
We're putting it in this press release.
Yes, I like that. I like that a lot. Probably not something I'm going to use, but it is interesting to see when I have a caricature in my mind of these enterprise Linux distros that I was ranting about in that clip from forever ago. It's these RHEL systems that haven't been upgraded in 3 releases because of the difficulty of it, which is what I spent a lot of my early years fixing, was systems that were 3 or more releases behind consistently.
I do think like putting on my dev hat, if I were at a company that was in this kind of environment, this would seem like a pretty nice, a nice offering that I'd be able to pull in from.
Look at them go. Look at them go. So you're missing some content if you're not a member, and it is a great way to just put your support on autopilot. There's also an ad-free version of the feed if the bootleg isn't for you. Just use the promo code bootleg when you check out. You'll get I think it's 15% off the membership. I think a party or the Unplugged Core membership. You can go to jupiter.party for the whole network and get all the bootleg feeds, or linuxunplugged.com/membership for just this here show. Oh, guess what? Unraid.net/unplugged. They have a brand new release. Whew. Brand new release. Oh, yeah. Unraid 7.2 stable is here. And so 2 big things, I think. Well, 3 big things if you use ZFS. 1, new responsive UI, so you can sit there and, deploy applications on your couch from your phone if you want. 2, they have a totally legit, totally integrated open source API that the community is building a ton of stuff on now, but there's automations, all kinds of stuff you can do with the API. And then if you do use ZFS, you're probably going to like the fact that they've now added ZFS RAID Z expansion support. So you can now grow your ZFS pools without having to start over, which, man, ZFS, it took a long time. Right now, Unraid's got that all nice and easy. They've also added a couple of basic file systems, and including NTFS. So, I got family disks with NTFS. You never get that?
Of course. I mean, there's so much NTFS out there.
Oh. Maybe dog photos on NTFS?
For sure.
Put your dog photos on there. Brent, you got any cat photos on an NTFS drive anywhere?
No, HFS though.
Oh.
Definitely HFS.
You better get to that when you can.
Yeah.
Apple's going to cut that sucker off one of these days.
He was going to get to it from Linux already. Don't kid yourself.
It's the only way I used to get it. Yeah. It was during the transition period from Mac, and I was like, I got to access it from both, and I never did.
Hey, actually, didn't the HFS driver see some contributions just a month or 2 ago?
I sure hope so.
I thought it did. I thought the Linux HFS driver actually just got some recent contributions.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I don't remember why, but...
And you only need read-only access, so...
Just turn the journal off,
Oh, no live boost to bring it up. Oh, we're going to be scraping the bottom on this one, boys. It's a holiday disaster.
No pew-pew?
Nobody was thankful for the show.
Jeff?
I still maintain it might be our fault. I haven't been feeling like they've been particularly bangers, so I guess I understand.
We're making bad content. That's, yeah.
Okay, so I got to find a spot for Brent. Where should I put Brent? Maybe I'll try putting him.
Oh, yeah, right. You need your boost.
Oh, it's not going to let me. Oh, isn't that cute? Of course.
That works, except for how it won't work for you.
Yep.
You could hide Brent, I guess.
Who wants to hide Brent, though?
Nobody does.
Nobody wants to hide Brent.
Then we lose the cats, so.
Yeah. All right, Brentley, you want to bring us into La Boost as we come back?
Sure can do.
Okay, here we go. In a 3, in a 2.
Well, we've got a baller boost this week from someone dear to my heart, Aaron.
Aaron!
Aaron sent in 96,670 sats across 3 boosts.
Oh!
Where is Aaron right now?
Coming in, we're going to be doing a big lift for this episode. Thank you, Aaron.
Here with the baller for sure.
I heard a while back mention of Talos OS and it intrigued me. I haven't had a chance to play with it until now. A need arose for a dev Kubernetes cluster, so I figured I would give it a try. It's stupid easy how Talos makes it. What was originally a week's worth of effort was done in 5 minutes. I'll be playing around more with it, but very happy so far. And as always, love that show. Thanks for all you do.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, keep their experience reports coming. Talos does look quite good.
Of course, Aaron had some other ideas. Here's a little extra for the holidays. I think a home lab special is a great idea, and I'll be submitting mine as soon as I can. Maybe you can include an award for the longest running server.
Ooh, uptime, you mean? Like a uptime award? I also / oldest kernel.
Is it, you can do uptime, but you can also do longest age of initial, deployment.
I wonder how many people out there could beat fake NAS, which has got to be. We've had it running for a decade, but it was used when we bought it, and it had been in production for 3 or 4 years when we bought it. So that server is probably 13 or 14 years old. And amazingly, power was cut to it twice last night as the circuit blew, and just picks right back up. Keeps on.
Oh, why'd the circuit blow, Chris? That's really strange that would happen.
I used the microwave. So, yeah. Studio's got some original weird wiring. The studio itself, we redid the wiring in this room. Out the rest of the place,
You don't want to know.
yeah, you could build it fast, you could build it cheap, or you can build it right, and they picked two. So it is what it is. Yeah.
Bob the Nut comes in with 4,000 sats.
Hey, it's Bob. Hey, Bob. I guess I think it's Bob. I think I know him. I think I know which Bob this is.
Bob says, cheers.
Well, cheers to you.
Thanks for the boost.
Thank you very much. Well, look who it is, guys. It's Chloroflora. Chloroflora. Am I getting it? Chloroflora. He comes in with a row of ducks. 2,222 sats. Looks like I really need to change my nickname. But to what?
It might have something to do with what just happened. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I apologize. It's a deficiency of mine. I'm definitely going to nail it though one of these days. I'm going to get better about it. It's going to happen any day now.
If you don't nail it, you're going to start collecting some adversaries.
Yeah, or adversaries.
Monty,
yeah, something like that.
Monty comes in with 4,444 sats.
Things are looking up for old McDuck.
Yeah, double ducks. Gadzooks, I run a very similar switch for external access to what Chris just set up. Mine skips the ngrok and incorporates something I picked up from you guys, which is tunneling a reverse proxy over a mesh network. I have a VPS that runs Caddy, and it proxies any service I want publicly available over Tailscale. At the very bottom of the Caddy file, I import, looks like he's got an Etsy Caddy secure and then a .caddy folder. Nice. In that secure subdir, I have files such as secureservices.caddy.disabled.
Okay.
Then in Home Assistant, I have a switch that triggers a shell command to rename that file to secureservices.caddy.
Yeah.
Flip the switch off, and it names it back to disabled.
That's a clever way to do it. There's so many ways to do that.
And then Monty continues with a +1 to config confessions round 3. I really like hearing about unique ways people approach solving problems through declarative configs.
Well, thank you, Monty. And I love hearing your setup there. That's a great way to do it. And yeah, if you've got the VPS and you got a little Nginx foo under your belt, 10-minute job. Just get it on your mesh network and go to town. I mean, in a way, that Jelly Swarm is doing some of that for me. Only it's on top of it, it's layering over that interface to combine the Jellyfin servers and do the user ID mapping and have the UI. So it's doing a bit more than just the Nginx bit. But yeah, it's great. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Is it my turn? Gene Bean comes in with 8,922 sats. Chris, it's time to get on the home manager train. Whoop, whoop. Oh, boy. I feel like there
Gene Bean coming in with the truth.
Oh, man. I feel like there's just no stopping this. I can feel the home manager train. He says, it is a simple way to do so many of the things that you try to do, and it enables a lot of Nixing type stuff on Ubuntu and the like. Like your studio machines. Also, +1 for config confessions part 3. I'm catching up on episodes after falling behind and totally missed round 2. If it's practical for round 3, give us a month notice along with concrete deadlines so we can help staving off procrastination.
These are some quality tips.
Well, Gene, this is why we're giving you a heads up about the Home Lab Challenge, right? We're trying to give you a heads up, but there's only so much time for the holidays. But we could maybe set a date that's a few months out, for the next one. This round's been great, he says. He also wants to know whatever became of SteamOS getting released as a general distro.
Yeah, what did become of that?
Their answer when you ask Valve now is, well, we've done a lot of work to make it work on many AMD devices, so give it a shot. Okay. Yeah, okay.
Thanks.
Yeah. Also, +1 to listener Alex's comment about the ATL being ripe for a live show. ATL?
Atlanta area.
Oh, yeah. All right. I like that. I like that a lot.
Soham G comes in with 2,000 sats.
Coming in hot with the boost.
Okay, about Git. My semi-hot take is that Git is poorly designed And even in computer science, very few people actually use it efficiently because of this. Teaching people Git is a fool's errand.
Whoa!
I use Fossil for my Nix configs and mirror them to GitHub. See the talk by Fossil and SQLite creator Richard Hipp on YouTube for more.
Huh.
I hate building PCs.
Coming in hot. What do you think? Is it a waste of time? I can't agree.
I don't know if I'll go that strong, but
Yeah.
I do think wanting improvement is good. And Fossil and some other stuff like the Jujitsu tool, there are some promising better tools than Git. So I don't think it's, it may be a local optimum. It's definitely not a global optimum.
All right. I'll take that. I'm wearing a hat, so watch out. I'm hitting my microphone, everybody.
Well, Hybrid sarcasm boosted in 15,000 sats.
Make it so. Boy, they are doing a lot with mayo these days.
Hybrid says, pew pew, boosting to remind everyone that the boosties are right around the corner. Get your baller boosts in to boost your chances of winning a free year of the Jupiter Party membership.
Yeah, Hybrid is going to gift the Jupiter Party membership to somebody who is our Boosties winner. And if you already have one, then he can give it to somebody else, or you can as well. That's going to be great, and we really appreciate that. Hybrid, you're a good guy. You know what? He's a good guy, right?
Yeah, real good guy.
He's a real good guy.
Real good guy.
Real good guy.
Real good guy. Morse comes in with 5,000 sats.
Danger zone.
Jelly Swarm solves a problem I didn't know I had. Yeah, I agree, right? It was so great.
Danger zone?
Have some sats? Is that what he says there? What's he saying there, Wes? You look like you have an idea.
No, Signal? Signa?
Signa sats.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with that. Thank you, Morse. Yeah, Jelly Swarm, Wes came in clutch on that one. I mean, I'm glad I had a chance to build my whole tunnel thing because I can use it for a couple of other things. But boy, oh boy, I was off on the wrong track on that one.
Well, I'm just so excited to see more and more stuff being built on Jellyfin like that. Like
Yes.
it's been calling out kind of for various tools like that.
The last year has been really good for things building around Jellyfin, and I think it's going to be a matter of time before our friends in our circle that still have Plex will probably give Jellyfin another look because there's just so many great apps around it. Thank you, everybody who supported this episode with a boost. It's a value for value production, and that means if you get some value out of the show, we'd really like it if you send it back our way. And there's several ways to do it, and one of them is a boost. And we had 23 of you stream sats as you listened. You collectively stacked for us 33,724 sats. Not our strongest showing ever, but, it's there. It's there, and we appreciate it. So you can say that about it. And then, of course, when it comes to our total this week, we stacked 172,522 sats. Thank you, everyone who boosted in. Fountain.fm is making some big leaps forward on the interface and some of the features. So if you haven't checked it out for a while, now's a great time, and it makes it easier to boost than ever. There is a completely self-hosted route with things like AlbiHub, and there's a plethora of great podcast apps over at newpodcastapps.com. Head on over there, see if one fits your needs, support the show with a boost. And of course, a big thank you to our members who put their support on autopilot. Shows like this, they're not going to last long-term without audience support, right? It's a niche audience that we make the podcast for, and that is you. Thank you for your support. Now, I'd like to leave you with some picks. Oh, wait. We'll pause. Pause one moment for Dog. One moment. There is a security incident at the studio. Dog security is investigating.
So does that make this a dog pause?
Yeah, we need a dog pause song, right?
We do.
This is where we wait for Dog. Doopa-doopa-doop. Woof, woof. All right.
Nailed it.
Coming in.
Dog secured.
Nope, not that one. Before we get out of here, we're going to leave you with a couple of picks. Well, a pick with a couple of links. And Wes, you're speaking to my heart with an old school emulator this week. And I honestly haven't had a lot of experience, not good experience at least, with the Nintendo 64 emulators. So you're bringing to the class today Gopher 64. Tell me about it.
Yeah, I was chatting with my bro. We both love this era of gaming as well. And I guess he was trying out a few different emulators, had a problem with some of them, and had found Simple 64, which was supposed to be like a very widely compatible emulator. So I took a look at that, just wanted to go check out if it was open source. Could I find it? And I noticed it was archived, and it said, go check out Gopher 64. I don't know about Simple 64, but Gopher 64, when I went and searched, it immediately popped up with Linux support. So I was super pleased to see that. And then I looked a little closer, and it's also a GPL Rust app.
Oh, that's great.
V3, yeah.
So it's GPL3 built in Rust, but also very cool for this type of thing is it has a NetPlay server as well.
Yeah, it seems like it's pretty widely compatible so far. It's targeting like not crazy high specs needed to be able to play.
They've got a Docker Composer, really Podman, really. Look at the Podman. It's Podman. Podman, you pull this container and you get a little discoverable LAN server for running different games on.
Yeah, and then it is also published as a Flatpak, so pretty easy to get started and play. I was able to test out just playing a few ROMs and worked no problem.
That's great. Now, this is, I think, is a nice in-between because what I'm using, and I've talked about it before on the show, is ROMM.
Yes.
That's a web app that has a bunch of different emulators baked in, but they're not top-grade emulators. Like the N64 one's not great. The Super Nintendo one's fine, so I'm happy about that. So this is really nice, especially with that NetPlay capability.
It's got Xbox-style controllers with a default mapping for those, so those should work pretty much out of the box.
Gopher 64. I'd like also, if anybody out there has any of their favorite classic game emulators, let me know. I was just this weekend, I was playing with my little RX, whatever it is, handheld game device.
Oh, right, yes.
I just, every now and then I'm in a mood for a classic game.
And, boost in which ROMs you're playing.
Of course. Now, Wes, before we go, we got some pro tips for people. And it's great to see more and more apps are supporting this now.
Yeah, the magic of the podcast namespace from Podcasting 2.0.
Yeah, we got transcripts and cloud chapters. And podcast, Pocket Casts and Apple Podcasts have just recently added that stuff. Of course, all the Podcasting 2.0 apps as well.
Well, of course, yeah, they are ahead of the game. But yeah,
it's spreading.
More and more of your regular old podcasting clients are implementing some, maybe not all, maybe not as much as we want, but some. And once you have the namespace in your RSS feed, it makes it even easier to start using more of those features.
And when you switch to a new app or when your legacy app gets these features, we have been putting transcripts and chapters in since episode 600. So you're going to get a massive back catalog now of weeks and weeks of this stuff, which is going to be fun, I think, when we find different ways to use it. So that's available to you. And then probably the biggest resource is going to be our website. We'll have links to everything we talked about, the projects we mentioned, all of that stuff is linked over at linuxunplugged.com/643. That's where you're also going to find our contact page, our membership stuff, all of that. And of course, there's only a couple of more live streams left this year.
See you next week. Same bad time, same bad station.
So we would love to have you join us live. We do it on a Sunday. We call it a Tuesday on a Sunday. It's our special thing. We start at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern over at jblive.tv. Or you can put it in your audio streamer of choice at jblive.fm. We have a mumble room that's going during all of that. Our Unplugged gets together before and after the show and hangs out with us. You could also join that mumble room yourself. It's available to anyone. And all the resources you might want over at linuxunplugged.com. Thank you so much for joining us on this week's episode of Your Unplugged program. And we will see you right back here next Tuesday, as in Sunday. Hey!
Conversion in progress.
Okay, thank you, Drew. Appreciate you. I'll stop, Mr. Brentley, now. I'll stop. And I would say call the launch. right? Call the launch.
Well, I'm just going to make a quick call
Call the
to
launch. Yeah, call
I
the
haven't
launch.
checked in since yesterday. 774-462-5667. That's it. All right. 774-462-5667. Call now.
We're done with the show, so you could have been dialing with Hank.
We've been doing the show. What have you been doing? Call the show, go launch. All right, so
review this show to the launch.
We do need to pick a title. We do have some biz to do. Some biz to do for you.
So what do you want to see in a title? You know, now that you think about it, give a little chance for the.
Well, it's kind of like catching up on a few threads, circling back on a few things. A lot of Chris was right, but that was not. I will attest that was not the intention. That was not the intention. That was not. But that is the way it went. I can't help it. Generally, on a long enough time scale, Chris is usually right.
As
Just
sort of
keep-
law of the universe.
Yeah, just seems.
Just keep waiting.
If he isn't right yet, just wait longer.
It's actually true.
So, are we ready to pull the title cord, or should we let them keep going for a minute? How's it looking there?
I see titles rolling in here.
Yeah. Should we let a couple more I see they're slowing down. Wes was popping a few in there.
I did.
That IPTV thing was fun. I had to seriously put it down because I needed to work on the show, and I wanted to just build my whole thing right then and there. I did throw it into Chad GPT, and I said to Chad, go through this M3U file and pull anything that's not English and anything that's less than 720p and anything that's not 24/7. And
You're going to miss all the weird 480 content.
and a couple of other parameters that, I just have preferences around. And then it just went through and created me a new M3U file. And then what was great is I could validate it in some of those web apps that I talked about in the pre-show.
Totally.
So I just opened up the web app, open up the M3U file, and see if it worked or not. It's a sweet little workflow. I can't believe some of that stuff was on there. I mean, I saw movies from the 90s on there, television shows, current television shows, news networks are on there. I was watching ABC News. It's crazy.
It is pretty wild. You're just browsing around.
Just like multiple times I'm saying to Wes, I can't believe this is on here.
You could definitely find plenty of entertainment if you weren't super picky just from that.
Yeah. And I'm also, for some reason, I like to channel surf. I like when I go to a hotel and they have traditional TV, I turn it on, I just channel surf. Because there might be something better on the next one.
It's a thrill of discovery.
It is. And then
what's around the next corner?
You got to get a lay of the land too, right? So then you figure you learn when it rolls over, and you got to get a sense. Okay, these are the news at ranges. This is the sport range. This is the movie range, right? So you learn a lay of the land by doing the channel roll. And this is a similar thing, but now in the digital era, where I can just digitally pull down different streams and just. Dude, that's how I'm going to spend an evening. One of these nights. I'm going to be at home by myself and be like having some dinner.
Yep.
Just me. And I'm just going to sit here and pop through the streams. Oh, okay. So we have the votes rolling. So go vote, everybody. Here we go. It's on. Get in that Matrix chat and pick a title for episode 643. They're kind of coming in slow. I'm going to be honest. Okay, we're starting to see the giraffe ones. These are good.
Yes, trace back through the show.
Right?
With Megbot.
It's basically going back to the history. You're exactly right. Yeah. Going back in time.
Holiday Hotfix.
Oh, we just crossed the 2-hour mark on the live stream for folks.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and the 2-hour and 17 mark for the members.
Oopsie, sorry. Not sorry.
No, not.
Woo! Big show.
Free as in Canadian.
French is in Canadian. The holiday hotfix is mine.
Uh-huh.
I think the holiday hotfix is a little broad. It's not my first, but it is a contender just because it's broad enough. But it's something like, following up on loose threads throughout the year.
Nuke France?
Not quite not quite the message or the platform the show probably wants to take. Not quite our usual bag.
Do you have any hot take theories about the people leading France?
I don't. I'm a bad bad world citizen in that regard. Because I'm also, I know this is going to be a really lame answer, but I'm kind of the opinion that like each nation can kind of figure their own S out, and then we as a world population, especially as we become more nomadic and digital, we'll just vote with our feet and we'll see which philosophies win. So if they want to fuck it up, and this is my opinion, if they want to mess it up, okay, well, let's see how that works out for you in 30 years. You know, it's kind of my thinking, because people are just going to be more mobile and more capable of moving around the world and working from wherever they want and living wherever they want. And so if you want to make stupid decisions like this, well, you're going to get stupid results. That's my thinking. But so it's sort of like, let them just do it because it'll work itself out on a 30-year time scale. But I know that's sort of cold and maybe slightly psychotic. I don't know.
Well, that's kind of the idea with the states, right? You see migration between states.
Yeah, I think this plays out
that exact pattern.
I think this plays out. Are any of you familiar with the nomad capitalist guy?
Nope.
Yeah, I've seen him in like a few things.
Yeah, he runs like a law firm that specializes in helping people renounce citizenship in the United States and essentially become a citizen somewhere else in the world, or maintain multiple citizenships, including, there's different variations of it. And it's a thing. He's an influencer in that space because it's a thing that people are actively interested in.
Oh, yeah.
A bumpy year for the Colonel was one of mine. The Cache FS list. Linus Loopback. Sunday Soapbox Sessions. We have done a Sunday no, I don't know if we have, actually. I might be thinking of a different title. Nomad is for rich folk. Oh, maybe. Maybe Riz. Maybe. I think that perspective is going to change too. I think you're really just going to need to own some assets, and perhaps that's stock, perhaps it's something else that's portable.
Like a van?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's totally an asset.
Hey.
You can put a lot of hardware wallets in a van.
That's true. Now all of a sudden it becomes very valuable. Especially, and now I know this is going to take time, right? Again, I'm not saying this is a thing that's going to be resolved in 2 years, but more people will work remote. More people will just have an online life. More people will store their wealth digitally and be able to transport it. Some of them will be able to do it with a 12-word seed phrase in their head. So their work is remote and their wealth is digital. Now, this isn't going to be everybody, but it's going to be more and more people. And it's going to be the type of people that probably have a large economic impact and probably a higher on the consumer side. So it's going to matter. But it's not going to be in 2 years, right? It's going to be painful. And that's why it's awful. But I guess this is the process, right? This is humanity. It's a slow process.
He sure is.
We're here for just part of this evolutionary process.
Okay, so we haven't done. I only see. I don't see any soapbox titles. I do see. We did do the Sunday Secret Sauce.
That's what I was thinking of. Yeah,
version of this.
The last time which kind of is nice. There's a kind of
yeah.
There's kind of a connection there. So I could see the Sunday Soapbox. It might be better than anything else we've got.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Brent? How do you feel about Sunday Soapbox?
Well, I mean, I titled it, so I think it's quite fabulous.
Oh, I didn't realize I was asking the author.
Bias.
Woo! Okay, well, I mean, I could go with that. And then also it's like, well, if you don't like a soapbox session, you can just move right along. Move along. Don't miss next week's episode, though. Why we talked about all this may work out next week. I don't know. We'll see. But it should be good. I think that's everything. Wow, I feel like all of a sudden, of course, we're kind of going long.
I'll just say so far, you have, there's been 2 titles with your name in it in the 600s.
I bet Brent's got
only one in Brent.
What?
Brent. Yeah. So Brent might need to, we might need to think about that.
Boy, in my mind, there's like 3 or 4 with Brent's name in them.
Yeah,
I think in the 500 series, I was way ahead.
Yeah, you had.
Oh, you're talking about just in the 600 series? Yeah. Oh, I missed that detail.
Yeah,
what about you?
He had 4 in the. There's none with my name.
Huh? Really?
I don't know why.
Oh, sorry,
I'm
Wes.
surprised we haven't played around with your last name more.
There's probably that. I didn't look for that. I just did. Oh yeah, only 1 Chris in the 500s, but we had 1, 2, 3, 4 Brents.
Yeah, crazy Brent.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we should probably wind down because we got a Thanksgiving turkey that's cooking out there for us.
Whoa. You guys.
It smells amazing too. It smells like Thanksgiving all over again.
It just occurs to me I never received the invitation.
Well,
for the
don't worry, Brent, because we've
Unplugged
bottled that
Turkey
smell.
Day.
We call it Simple Thanksgiving. We'll ship it out to you.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Yep. Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you, Mobile Room. Appreciate you.
Come back next week.
Pleasure, we will.
All right. You promise?
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Bye, guys. And thank you, everybody that tuned in live. I think that's really nice of you. You know, you didn't have to. They could have, I don't know, what would you be doing on a Sunday?
There's a lot of choices for, content.
Yeah, there is.
We appreciate that.
Yeah. You know, you get your Sunday morning affairs of whatever you got to do. Some people it's sleeping in. Others, they're getting up, they're going out, they're doing the church thing. Other people, they're making themselves a big old breakfast or something.
Maybe you're getting to chores, need something in the background.
Choring. Could be choring. Yeah, whatever it is, we're glad you decided to spend it with us. I don't have a song picked. Hey, there's Brent. Remember how we have Brent in the corner?
Oh, hey.
Hey, look, he's in the corner right there.
Aww.
What do we want, guys? What do we want to play to get out of here? Any requests? Any requests? Well, no. No. Nothing. So I think nothing makes me think of Thanksgiving turkey. I don't got anything.
You don't have like a turkey-based song?
No, I don't. I know it's weird. You'd think maybe I would. I mean, I have the turkey crunch. That's what I called the song. I called the song that I entered the. Oh, I'll just end this with that. This is the song that I started us with. And I called it Turkey Crunch, and I didn't play the whole song because it's a song. It's a song. You know what I mean? I think it might be slightly below the members, but because I don't have anything else on the soundboard,
I have a totally unrelated AI song.
Okay, what is it about?
Steamed hams.
Okay.
When Wes has a smile like that,
I know.
It's hard to deny him his suggestions.
Did you make this song?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. All right. With regional dialect.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a bit.
That's a hint. That's a hint.
What?
Okay. That's all you're going to say?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you, members. Appreciate you. See you back here next Sunday. Bye now. Is it going to go, Wes? Is it going to go? Oh, no, that's my fault. That's not your fault. That's my fault. Okay, Wes, make it play now. Wes, here it goes.
Go.
Bye, members.
My roast is burned, but you don't need to know. I'll slip out the window, cross the street real slow. Fast food on a tray, I call it culinary art. One small lie to keep my job to it hard. There's steam, there's smoke, there's plausible denial. Aurora Borealis in my kitchen on trial. Steam ham, steam ham, regional dial. Steam ham, what did you expect? Upstate Albany, it's a local thing. This explanation's gonna sting. He's asking questions, he's taking a bite. The grill marks are showing, the story's not tight. Patented skin, a recipe, what am I saying? My mother's screaming, the whole house is playing. With fire, with shame, with the truth on its way. One more excuse before I have to pay. Steam ham, it's not what it seems. Steam ham, burning my scheme. Upstate Albany, Utica, who cares anymore? The kitchen's an inferno, and he's heading for the door. May I see it? No. Will you steam a good ham? Simon, the house is on fire. Northern Lights, mother, nothing more. Steam ham, regional dialect. Steam ham,
Motherfucking steamed hams. Steamed hams. I do
That was
think
brilliant.
I do think V5 is better at finding its ending.
Yeah.
But the other thing you can do in the style prompts is you can tell it, make it a minute 30 and stuff like that, or make it 10 seconds. That's how I get some of my jingles now, as I say, make it 10 seconds. The other thing that's great about that is it often fucks that up. So it's perfect.